Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination thrive. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Happy Saturday. Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center Presents Saturday Overnight Live. Welcome back for those of you who watched our double bill of Halloween, the original Halloween and the original Halloween 2. That was fun. Like I said, one of the better horror movies of its era. And I hope you all enjoyed all that. So like I said, another horror movie afternoon in the books tonight. Tonight's show is brought to you by Sony Pictures and Marvel Studios Venom Last Dance. I don't know why the little picture isn't coming up. There we go. If you are local in Las Vegas and you would like to be at an advanced screening happening this Tuesday, October 22nd at AMC Town Square, and you're local, reach out to me. I still have some seats left, and I will be there in person to see this one. So once again, Tom Hardy, Till Death Do They Part, Venom Last Dance, in theaters on Friday, October 25th. All right. Today, how you doing, Brad?
You get started a little behind getting on.
Yeah, today was New York Comic-Con. Not a lot of news, but what came out was significant. Some of the stuff I tried to play and I did not reach the copyright threshold. I was going to play the scene that they released from Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, which was a pretty awesome scene, but it's too long and it tripped up the copyright. So I'm just gonna have to tell you how great that was. The Daredevil one that they showed there was sort of the same one that they showed at D23, but once again, they have not released that to the public, so we'll just basically talk about that. I got a major problem with these exclusives. I've said this over and over again. I don't believe in con exclusives unless it's a toy or something like that you're handing out physically at Comic-Con. But when it comes to trailers, when it comes to information, when it comes to marketing, that should never be excluded or exclusive to Comic-Con. And I know people are like, well, it should be something special for the people who are there. Most people will never go to a convention. Let me give you that math right now. Most people most people in the hobby, most of them, the overwhelming majority of them that are going to partake in any of this geek shit are never going to go to convention. It's not easy. In most cases, it's depending on where you live too, it's very expensive. It's very expensive. It's an undertaking. It's logistically hard. So most people are not going to go to convention. Even less people are going to go to these major conventions that are really expensive to get into, really expensive to travel to. So why would you show something that only those people are going to see?
Well,
So
nobody's going to go to every convention either.
Yeah, so 100 and some odd thousand people that go to Comic Con, you're going to show them something, and the rest of us can't. And I was there. I still want that promo footage that they showed us for Fantastic Four. I want everybody to see that because okay, if you want to give it to me a few hours early, fine. But to not give it to the general public, they are the ones that are going to make this float. The general public on you. Listen, most people can't get to a convention. Most people can get on a computer and YouTube, even if it's from their phone. So I don't know why you wouldn't want people to get as hyped about that. Have millions upon millions of people spreading the hype instead of a couple hundred, not even a couple 100,000 in the case of New York Comic Con, because it's a much smaller convention than San Diego. But either way, combine them. Most people will not ever. I know people who, most of the people I know have never been to San Diego Comic Con. Nobody I know, personally, has gone to New York Comic Con. I know a couple people online that have, but I wish they would have put the Daredevil one out back in D23. They put the Creature Commandos one out. Fucking fly, man. They put the Creature Commando one. I mean, so what determines what gets released and what doesn't? So yeah, I hate that. I wanted to show the trailer, but I don't want to get that. I don't want to get taken down over that. And I wanted to show those parts from Strange New World because they were really good. They're from the cliffhanger, but there was a lot of Star Trek news that was put out today. Section 31 got its release date. It's done. It's in the can. It's ready to go. They released another trailer for Lower Decks, which is great. And Strange New World. They released a cutaway scene for Strange New World, which I'm pretty sure I can't play. So yeah, really, really kind of hyped up. Now we got another absolute DC title that was revealed. Martian Manhunter will be getting his own.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Look at the thumbnail there, right below me to the right. Yeah, that was just announced today.
Okay.
Also, yeah, good news. Really good. Probably the best news for me today is Vertigo's back. We'll cover that. Vertigo should have never gone away. Much like the Ultimate Universe should have never gone away. But now, listen, everything resets itself. Everything corrects itself. Elseworlds is back. I got a DC Absolute Universe that was, even an outstretch from that. Ultimates, and now I have Vertigo back. And along with Vertigo, now what's going to happen to the DC Black Label? What I think they are going to do there is they are going to separate the superhero stuff that was mixed in with the Vertigo stuff. Black Label will still exist because it needs to, and then Vertigo will have its own print. I got an article from, I think it was Bleeding Cool, that I'll read about that. All right, well, let's go ahead and say hi to the hooligans. If that's it. Once again, I'm having notification problems.
Yeah, it's a little weird. It's been happening to us today.
Yeah, I have no control over this. Some of you guys are going to get this notification later. Sorry, but I mean, it's
like there are a couple of regulars who aren't in the chat. Usually would expect normally would expect to be some. This might be unfortunate byproduct of that.
All right, hello, Braden, Vince. What's going on? Taladia, I was just watching you guys blaspheming over at on Dave's Patreon stream.
Well, yeah, because I wasn't there for that. What was that?
Cartoon madness. Hell.
Oh,
and Scott just made me throw up in my mouth when he says he wouldn't have known who Iron Man is except for the cartoon in the mid-90s. And I really just wanted to eat this microphone when I heard that. I'm like, oh, jeez. Like, what the hell, man? William, is the reason Vertical and Elseworlds are back because James Gunn or Jim Lee? James Gunn has no influence on comics. He may have an opinion, and him and Jim Lee are close, but this is all Jim Lee. Jim Lee is the end all and be all when it comes to the paper. But now I think that I still think they can work together, even if and I think it's good that they are in charge of two different jurisdictions. Lower Decks doesn't need saving. Lower Decks is going to get what, 4 years, 5 years for a streaming show, an animation streaming show. That's a lifetime. Where does Lower Decks? Is it season? It's gonna get. This is season 5 for Lower Decks, right?
It's more. I think it's more of a William question.
I don't watch the show religiously. So yeah, number of seasons is 4, and they are currently in. Okay, yeah, you're gonna get fit. You're gonna get 5 seasons. You're gonna get 5 seasons. All these shows are gonna get 5 seasons. I don't think Strange New Worlds is gonna go beyond 5 seasons. In the streaming era, we're no longer getting 7 seasons in 25 episodes. I don't know why, but that's just what they want to do now. Stranger Things is an immensely popular show and is a highly rated show. It's getting 5 seasons. So I think when you get 5 seasons in on a streaming platform, I think you've gotten an eternity. I don't think Lower Decks needs saving. I mean, I wouldn't turn down another season for somebody who likes it, but when you say something needs saving, if it was like Mindhunter where I didn't get a season 3, then yeah, that needs. Let's save Mindhunter. But Lower Decks got 5. I would love to get 5 seasons of Mindhunter, but yeah. To be fair, I'm 40, and that Iron Man cartoon got me into Iron Man because it came out in 1994 when I was just 10. Yeah, that doesn't make it right, though, guys. I'm gonna fucking kill this fly, and I'm gonna enjoy you dying, fly. Once you know what, here's the thing. I don't care how you got in to the club as long as you're in. But once you're in the club, if you snuck in under a different alias and a different ID, now that you're here, you can assume the proper identity. And why don't you pick up an Iron Man comic? Pick up Armor Wars. Come on, guys. Just because you got in because of the cartoon doesn't mean, come on. And Scott's not a kid. Scott's like 40-something. You guys, Vince, you're not a kid. Come on. If you were 12, when I started reading comics when I was 7. Come on. What the hell's going on here? Anyway. Let's see. These cartoons weren't kiddie, but you guys got to, when you guys say something is adult, like I keep hearing people say, well, Batman wasn't for kids. My dad was watching that with me. Within the context of what you were watching, yeah. Within the context of what the character is, no. Those cartoons in the mid-90s were like Barney the Dinosaur in comparison to the actual things that were going on in the actual comics and the source material. It's just, it's what it is. All right. Yeah, now you picked up the books later in life, so that's a different thing. I mean, like I said, Batman 89 was my first exposure. So yeah, I see before the Batman 89, I had already been reading the comics. So, all right, so I am going to let you get started with something I know you were excited about, something that's in the dead center of our thumbnail. Todd McFarlane went ahead and released the some Justice League associated toys.
We released a lot more than that, but those got a lot of the attention.
Yeah, for the ones that we're gonna. I guess we're only talking about the DC ones, right?
Well, I mean, it's like if we talked about because he put out like Spawn, he put out all kinds of stuff. So it's like we probably had to do like a whole stream on his new line of action figures he put out for McFarlane Toys, which is not to undercut the popularity of those characters or anything like that, but obviously as far as like a lot of, again, the big lightning rod was the Justice League ones that came up. And you want me to go ahead and pull that up?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, see if I can find it here.
I'm not the biggest toy guy. I might get these,
yeah,
but it's like I just don't like this. I don't like chasing fucking toys down. I just don't have the patience.
And see, it's like that was kind of my gateway drug to really into everything I'm into. As a whether it's as far as superheroes and a lot of nerdy hobbies. It's like action figures. I was so big into collecting action figures when I was a kid. And I thought about it more as an adult, like when the superhero movie boom like really took off in the mid 2000s. I thought I should get back into collecting action figures. I've just never done that yet.
I think the prices go, people gouge them, and it's like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, because there's already scalpers on this.
Yeah. Real quick before you get in this, Braden. Listen, this is fine. Listen, guess the first Batman I ever saw was Goofy Adam West. So I don't how you get in is one thing. It's where you bring that influence to as far as how the market is molded, as far as like I heard somebody on one of these streams today say they would like to see the stuff in the cartoon adapted to DCU in live action stuff. I would rather pour ketchup on raw sewage and eat it on this fucking show than ever see that. That's a personal preference. How you got in is one way. What you did once you got in is another thing. I didn't bring, and I have no expectations of anything I saw as a child to transfer into my adult life. My expectations for Batman were not Adam West. My expectations for Batman were not the Super Friends. Even if I enjoyed those as a kid, something happened along the way. I grew up. And like I said, the same reason why I no longer eat baby food, I eat adult food because I'm not a kid anymore. So if that's how you got in, that's one way. I got in watching Burt Ward getting eaten by a giant clam in one of the most goofiest scenes. Kid me was okay with that. Adult me, no. Like I said, and what ends up happening is I never put those goofy expectations on a modern day live action. And I think for me, that's my problem that I have with a lot of this animation. People put those expectations, and then you have bonehead executives sometimes who follow that down the hole, and then you end up getting some of the shit that we've got. That's just a personal opinion.
Anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna pull up the. When we
never say anyway, because that means that it makes it sound like what the previous thing was going on wasn't kind of important, but you never want to say anyway. You want to say.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, let's get into it. Yeah. By the way, there you go.
Okay. So anyway, by the way, also RJ in the chat. Yeah, it's been a minute since he has been in the chat. So you got orders for the Absolute Batman. Yeah, I'm looking forward to those, man. Because it's Absolute Batman, man, that's a great read. So I'm really looking forward to reading. Like finding out today we're getting Absolute Martian Manhunter. That is like, oh, give me all the like the mainline JL heroes in a solo book. Because
his design is in the thumbnail.
Yeah, as William, we kind of speculated, and well, not really speculated. I just asked, it's like, do you think this is going to culminate to an Absolute Justice League? And we both agreed, yes, absolutely, that's got to be cards. So if they're already off to a hell of a great start with the Absolute DC, so I can't wait to see where this goes with each individual character. Like Wonder Woman's up next, Superman after that. Then I think it's Flash is the third one, then Green Lantern, and then I guess Martian Manhunter will be after him. Did they say when Absolute, Flash, Green Lantern, and they're all coming out next. Flash in March.
Yeah,
and we don't have hard dates for Green Lantern or Martian Manhunter yet, but they're all going to be next year. The first ones that are up are Batman, the Trinity. As you know.
Keep in mind, you only got 2 months left in this year anyway. Not even Bailey's basically 2 months left in this year, so next year is not that far away. I know it sounds like it.
Well, no, you're leading with the Trinity too, so it's that's the best business move. As far as like the first three characters.
And you started with the moneymaker. You started with the bat.
You started with your cash cow, and then I am so on board with Absolute DC. In fact, actually, since we're going to be talking about some DC action figures here in a second, it's like I can't wait to see Todd McFarlane talk about I want to see him I want to see some action figures out of this for McFarlane Toys. I mean,
you have to.
Yeah, he's got to have that contract, or if
that's
not
money,
it's already in the works.
That's money right there.
Yeah. Oh, it's big time. He's obviously just poking fun of William here.
You know what? Pull that back up because I think he is going to do something like that.
Oh, really? Okay.
I heard him at Comic-Con mention it. The euphoria of everything else blacked that out for me because I don't want to ever hear that again. But I can what he's giving me right now. If he's gonna do Death to Superman, I hope he doesn't. He doesn't need to. This universe does not need to do that. But I heard him mention something about it. But I was reading through my ash can, like we were reading through these. They gave us a lot of literature and stuff to go in, and while he was up there talking, I heard something about it, but I don't know what his plans are. I hope he doesn't do it though. I hope it's not done again for another generation. I hope I'm a fucking in a rocking chair, plugged into something by the time they do that story again. It just doesn't need to be done anymore.
Well, I mean, it's like he's probably gonna do it. No, but it's like Absolute DC off to a help start. Yeah, we're gonna get into all the New York Comic Con stuff in a.
Yeah, I can actually play that trailer. I mean, I'll get demonetized, but the whole
okay.
stream, is going to get
So
demonetized.
we're I mean, what the action figure thing is, it's going to be, that's part of that, even though it's been out for a few days. But yeah, we're just getting in all the Comic Con talk second here. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up. Kevin, yeah. Is it? Well, I mean, that's the topic at hand. So let me go ahead.
Yeah, you can get them. If you can get them, yeah.
Well, yeah, because they're going nuts. But yeah, we talked about this a little bit, when they first started dropping a few nights ago. We also talked about a little bit on the Vaca stream last night. But yeah, just going ahead and pulling up from McFarlane Toys. Yeah, see where they kind of started showcasing them. Okay, this all kind of started like he did a BBS, Batman suit one a couple days ago. First went live. There's also somebody, I don't think this is McFarlane Toys, but there's somebody else who's like manufacturing one that's based on the concept art for the Batflex suit in the Batman solo movie, in the Batflex solo movie. So that's
I
not,
heard about that.
Yeah, it's not McFarlane. Yeah, I got a picture. And now that's not McFarlane Toys, to be clear, but somebody's apparently taking that and running with it, and I'll bring that up in a minute here. So we got and again, like I said, McFarlane's like he knows. He's a very savvy businessman, so he does everything in volume, whether it's I mean, it's called DC Multiverse for a reason, because he's getting every iteration of DC characters he can to turn into toys. And so we got also a whole bunch of different Green Lantern and Superman, all the characters. Grid, the villain Grid, we actually got an action figure for him. But yeah, going back to this, so yeah, as I'm sure everybody's seen by now, we just got this, out of the blue, this new influx of BVS and ZSJL action figures just in time for New York Comic Con. They look absolutely awesome. If you can see a lot of those there, let me see. There's a few more up here too, and he kept dropping a lot of these. I mean, yeah. So Batman with the mask and the nightmare and the cracked helmet from the fight with Superman. Yeah, Darkseid. And did you see, by the way, William, that Ray Porter, like, he saw the Darkseid one, and he's like, "Oh, where can I get this?" And he actually got to meet Todd McFarlane and get this.
I saw that,
and that was so cool, because it's like I said on the Vaga stream last night. It's like he went from being like cut out of the movie altogether to getting his own action figure. I mean, it's like how I mean, talk about poetic justice. So
and I have a subtopic. after we were done with the actual.
Okay, so
yeah,
go through
just that me and you talked about it before already.
Okay. Yeah. Of course, there's a lot. Like I said, he did all kinds of other ones, like for Grid and Batman Beyond. Grey Hulk. I didn't see that one. Yeah, Spawn. Like I said, I mean, Spawn is like, as far as him as a comic book creator, that's his big signature character. Yeah, get some more Darkseid here. Were there any others that he put out related to this? I think that's most of them. Yeah. Okay, I think I got most of them there. Oh yeah, also Superman with the spear. Let me see if I can pull him up here. Had him with the spear taking on Doomsday, the Kryptonite spear. Looks like, yeah, that was, yeah, these are so, I mean, he just knows he knows what he's doing as a toy manufacturer.
Yeah, he's learned a lot. From his evolution in the mid '90s, from movie Maniacs till now, he has become he's learned a lot. He's learned from a lot of mistakes that they made earlier on.
Well, I mean, he comes also for being like, from Image Comics, being like a creator-owned, the whole creator-owned character model in Image Comics, and that I mean, I don't think it's, I think most people would agree that probably really informed a lot of his business model, not just with his comic book creation, but also just, McFarlane Entertainment with toys, putting it out into other media. I mean, it's like that really, the genesis of Image Comics, like, really, I think probably, gave Todd McFarlane his business savvy. But yeah, so I mean, obviously we got all kinds of stuff, DC, Marvel, and otherwise at related at New York Comic Con. Nothing really earth shattering, but still pretty.
A lot of it was carryover from either San Diego or D23.
And not to downplay it, there was cool stuff, but it wasn't we didn't have Robert Downey Jr. coming out and revealing he's Dr. Doom.
I was there for that.
But yeah, as far as like this, which these sold out apparently like immediately. I mean, these the BVS and ZSGL figures, they apparently just went like that. So, and it kind of, and I don't know if this is like the subtopic you were referring to, William, but I mean, this is something we've talked about on here, where it's like, as far as like, if you're of that corner of DC fandom who was really enamored with Zack Snyder's story that began in Man of Steel, and then we've gotten up to in ZSGL, and you want to see the conclusion or resolution to that. The best tool to make that case on a business level to the studio or to DC,
the only tool
is data. And you get data by something like this, something like merchandising, or if it had a theater run, or if it had like a comic book kind of event. So this is again, this really, I mean, I don't know if anybody had heard any rumblings that he was doing any this action figure line. I mean, it definitely took me by surprise. It was a pleasant surprise, but again, the fact that it just did so well right off the bat. I mean, yeah, as William has said, this is and we talked a bit about this on the Vodka stream last night. I mean, you made the comments like, oh, it'd go awesome with that is a comic book tie-in. So, but yeah, this is again, this is data. If you're, I mean, not to belabor the point, if you're as as we are, as many people in the chat are, as many people in the fandom are, if you want to see the conclusion of what Zach did, whatever format that would take. And I think I know what you're talking about too in the also in the subtopic. I'll let you get to that. But this is actually a positive development, because it's like, it's just keeping this very much in the zeitgeist and very much in a positive light, and very much at a popular level. So it's definitely it wasn't like news per se coming out of New York Comic Con, but it was nonetheless very exciting to hear, especially for people who actually got the action figures, which I was not one of them. So
right.
Now I'll let William go ahead and proceed on the subtopic.
As I said earlier this afternoon, doing it.
Yeah, I knew you were going. I knew what it was going to be.
If you are of the type who ever wants to see this concluded in a motion sense, as far as a cartoon or a show or a movie, James Gunn isn't your enemy. James Gunn is your best shot. James Gunn is your best shot. The more I see him operate, the more I see the way his mind is working and how it's not closed. Certain statements he's made, the statement he made 4 days ago about there are things that there's DC Studios and then there's the DCU. Not everything under DC Studios is going to be inside the DCU. So that whole, well, why would he do this and compete with himself? Stupid shit. That diffuses all that. Another thing, another clue. Constantine, whether I like it or not, whether I enjoyed the Keanu Reeves movies or not, I didn't.
I like
that's going forward. And that is not part of the DCU.
Yeah.
That is going forward.
Well, obviously the biggest one as far as like DC Studios, but not DCU, is the Batman franchise.
You have the Batman. You have the Batman and you have Penguin. None of those things. And I truly believe that the whole Superman and Lois thing had nothing to do with James Gunn. I think that is was a boneheaded decision made by the same bonehead who's been making some questionable decisions since he took the helm. I don't think that has anything to do with James Gunn.
Yeah, and I've said it's like, if the reasoning is we can only have, if the logic at the studio level, and we've talked about, we think it's flawed logic, but if nonetheless, if that is the reasoning at the studio level, that's something that's why Superman and Lois is ending now. Then that is a decision, from the outside, I would attribute right now more so to David Zaslav than James Gunn.
Yeah, and if you watch or listen closely to James Gunn, he's open to certain things. I mean, I know adversely when you think about people look at him and think of him as the replacement, as a guy who's producing stuff in the place of the stuff that you may have wanted. Most of that has nothing to do with him, but I could see him responding to data. I could see him entertaining that more than anybody else currently in Warner Brothers or that has been in Warner Brothers. You ironically might have a more receptive mind to what you guys want in James Gunn than you have had since the project started in 2013.
And
because those were a fight. Yeah, those were a fight. You guys we've been fighting this battle uphill and against these studios since Man of Steel first came out. You may, for the first time in 11 years of all this, have a guy who might throw that out there. You know, because his rhyme or reason for greenlighting a project isn't the same as the stuff suits that screwed up everything else. He's putting talking rats and shit. He's going where his mind goes, and he's got a great relationship with Jim Lee. He's got a good relationship with Zack Snyder. They've never said bad things about each other. I know a lot of people try to like, aim them at each other, but I think if it were ever to happen, the DCU isn't the enemy of it, and neither is James Gunn. That may be your catalyst to actually have that done. And the more I see him talk, the more I see him respond, and the more stuff that's just happening. Like I said, if the Batman and DCU were winding down, or we weren't getting Penguin, we weren't even talking about a Penguin or a Penguin. Now we're talking about Penguin season 2, possibly, depending on where the story goes. We're talking about a whole new world that is growing and not receding. And if it's all under DC Studios, that means the guy running DC Studios is open. He's going to do his DCU, but he's open to other things. That openness you haven't had that before. You did not have that under the current regime. Hell, fuck, you didn't even have a studio under the previous regime, and that's inexcusable. So I would say roll with it for right now. Let the toys continue to do what they do. I still say, before we even get to that stage, just give me a damn comic, guys. It's staples and paper. It doesn't cost you anything. And that added to the toys, added to the comics that just came out with the covers that sold out, all that stuff. Now, not only do we have an open-minded person currently sitting in the captain's chair, he has something to work with, because even he has bosses. And when he goes and says, we would like the budget for this, and that, he has an answer now before they even have the question. He's got whatever sales numbers that Todd McFarlane's Toys has done, and however many units, and especially when they get into wider release, because that always happens. You sell out, and then they're more available. That'll happen. So he'll have those numbers. And if you have a comic book out there that's doing the kind of numbers that like this thing is, and I actually think, as much as I love Absolute Batman and I love the numbers it's doing,
it's good.
Okay, Zack Snyder's Justice League in a 12-issue full-on arc would eclipse this. I'm getting Joe averages for this right now, but the general public, it's become a meme now.
Well,
now if you put it in a comic book form, you make a physical form of that meme to sell. I'm telling you.
Well, it's like the Absolute DC. Those are new versions of the characters everybody's being introduced to. And it's like the Justice League you see cinematically. These are versions of the characters we've seen. The public is now very familiar with. One thing I that kind of occurred to me also with this, and this kind of relates to what you're saying there about like the role Jim Lee, we play all this and doing something in comic form. The fact also that Todd McFarlane, again, on this level, he's a toy maker, he's an entrepreneur, but he also comes from a comic book background himself. Do you? They
founded Image together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So and he's still very very in tight with Jim Lee. Do you if something like that were to happen? Do you foresee Todd McFarlane having any kind of
I think
role
that
in the comic book of it?
That would be part of the deal, because part of the justification for doing anything is what kind of back end money can you make. So if you're telling me I need to spend this amount before I come into your office, if I have somebody willing to purchase the licensing for this, I've already got a streaming deal in place. Depending on where you put this on, you could be PVOD, you could do streaming, you could do all that stuff. I already got those numbers backed up. And then now I got the comic books. Now I got graphic novels. So now I got other publishers involved. A Barnes & Noble exclusive. Barnes & Noble can make their own exclusive that you can only get at Barnes & Noble's. You have to go there. Then you start licensing the T-shirts, licensing all the stuff that goes with it. Pop figures. You get Funko Pop involved. And Funko Pop involved. Funko Pop pays for their
license. Tons of those for what James Gunn's doing too. I have no doubt.
Yeah. So now you get all the usual suspects lined up. And then now you have a certain amount of money that you're just starting with. before you even go into a production budget. So yeah, Jim Lee would be involved. Todd McFarlane would definitely be involved. Todd McFarlane pays millions for these licenses.
Oh yeah.
And,
Well,
and when you're talking
good.
about putting something in where there's a 35%, say you put it in the box office, you want to make sure you get your first dollar, and this is the way to do it if it ever were to happen. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's me losing train of thought there. Actually,
Wow, man.
Damn it.
Who's
Oh shit. Well, yeah, RJ. Sorry, question. We're gonna get a little bit into that when we talk a little bit more about the stuff on the Comic-Con panels today. Oh yeah. So my point is that going back to the whole data thing. This I would say is the first time since the formation of DC Studios for everything we're talking about that we've had something that presents tangible data for this iteration of DC. I mean, like, we had the movie already come out on streaming, on physical media, on PVOD, but like since DC Studios has been a thing, this is really the first time, as far as I'm aware anyway, that anything has really been done with this version of the IP that has created any kind of data stream, any kind of revenue stream for it. So again, they have those numbers, they have that data pre DC Studios, but then post DC Studios, that's just as if not more important. The fact that you have something like that, if you want to see something like this, you have a data, a spreadsheet that could tell you, okay, here's how much these versions of the characters and this version of this the IP is still doing at this point in time, even when we've got a reboot coming along.
Give you an example. So this is cover price. By the way, I still have some absolute A covers at cover price. That's probably going to be my last run, and everything else is going to go up from there. But let's say, okay, so $4, right? So you got a calculator in front of you?
I can pull that up on my desktop. Okay, so calculator. All
right. So 250,000 times 4.99.
Yeah, because that's what these days. A single issue of a comic will usually set you back by is about $4.99. Okay, so $4.99 times 250.
Yeah, 250,000.
Okay, so 250,000. That is $1,247,500.
Okay, and I think that's the low estimate of what Absolute Batman was done. Now, when you go into second printing, let's go ahead and say we're going to, because the second printings are collectors. Let's go ahead and say they're going to cut the run by 150,000. So 150,000 times $4.99 is how much?
No, you cut it by 100,000 or 150,000.
About 100,000. So let's go 150,000 times $4.99.
Okay, so times $4.99. So 150,000. Make sure I got that right. Yeah, that is 748,500. So
we're right about 2 million just from these alone. Now we know we have a third printing. So let's keep the third printing at $100,000 times the $4.99, which is probably even easier now.
So now 100,000. Okay.
Yeah.
So $4.99 times 100,000. And I definitely couldn't do this without a calculator because math is not my strong subject.
Math is not even.
That's 499,000.
Okay, so now we're at 2.5 million. That's just with issue number 1. With the stats we just gave you right now, are just with this issue number 1. I'm just talking about the A cover. We're not talking about the variants and stuff like that.
RJ, it's worth it. It's so worth it, man.
Yeah, we're not talking about these. We're just talking about the A covers. All right, because the B covers are going to sell out. The D covers are going to sell out. So right now, if you give me, let's multiply that. Let's put two. So if we've done 2.5 million, let's just go with 2.5 million, right?
Okay.
Let's go with 2.5 million just for issue number 1. Let's go ahead and multiply that times 12.
Okay, so 1,000.
It's about 24.
Yeah. So times 12. Okay, so 2. Yeah. I'm just making sure I got 2.5 million because it doesn't have the commas come up in calculator. Okay, 2.5 million times 12. Okay, here we go. That is that's pretty good. That's 30 million.
Okay. Now we're assuming that this comic is going to continue to do, and I think it's going to continue to keep. Now let's go ahead and take off because not every one of them necessarily would go into second and third printing. So we said, so even if we're at 22 million or 24 million, which is what my guess would be, total sales for the year in this comic alone, that's just Batman. That's just the A cover. That number right there, you know what that number does for you? That justifies toys. You know damn well.
Yes,
McFarlane is
he
of this right now. There's no way that that Ultimate Batman and Ultimate Wonder Woman with that giant ass sword, all these characters are not going to have their own toy.
Probably in time for the next San Diego Comic-Con, I would say.
Probably sooner. Now, if you have that and you have the licensing of the toys, the sales of this alone. So if you had, I would say a mini series of Zack Snyder's a 12-issue arc, a 12 issue, just get it all out there, right? Let's say it does far less than this. Let's say it does, total copies with A covers, B covers, C covers, 19, 20 million in total calendar year sales, right? Okay, that still justifies a toy. That's still going to justify add-on revenue. Now, once you have the add-on revenue, the sales, the percentage of the sales that you get from that, because McFarlane's going to get his percentage because he made it, that's revenue on the top. So just putting on a comic book would justify that. Now, then you take those numbers and let them sit there. And if somebody thinks, you know what, I'm looking for an IP that's popular, now DC has an opportunity. It's in-house. It's our IP. Or if we don't want to take the liability, we can make even more money off of that IP by selling it, not selling it, but licensing and having someone else producing it. Why we get all the benefits. We still own the characters. It's just,
Well, the only thing, just kind of add some clarity to everybody, kind of listening to the math here. And listen, I promise it's not going to be strictly like a Snyderverse stream. Everybody, it's just, the action figures. Yeah, but it just the action figure line just made it, just made it very pertinent to tonight. The only thing to add a little bit of clarity to all the math you just said there. So we're talking what is it like a ballpark? What is considered like a hit as far as like a comic book run? Is like what you talked about, like if someone did like 20 million, that's for like 12 issues over the course of a year, and that incentivizes them to do an action figure tie-in with that storyline. But like just to kind of give an idea for people maybe who aren't necessarily behind the scenes as far as comic book sales, like what is usually considered in volume like a a good hit or a good run as far as a comic book like 12 issue run.
I'm going to say what we just went through.
So about 20 to 30 million.
Yeah. So I'm going to look up something because I actually have the actual.
Yeah. RJ, that's the one I got. That was right here. I still got to get the bag board for it. Yeah, that's the one I got though. And this I have not had so much fun reading comics in a really long time with that since Absolute DC started.
And this is right here. This is data that I'm looking at that anybody can look up. The first printing, over 250,000 copies. Collectors driving up eBay resale prices. Fuck you guys, damn it. Third printing hit stores November 27. That's good. You don't get second and third printing. 250,000 copies in this era, this technological era where we have so many things fighting you against. Just to let you know, back in the day, back when some of these stories drove comics into the ground, that's how many they were printing and not selling. So this right here in this era, to be able to move 250,000 of first printings, knowing that there's second and third printings going out, and now the way second and third printings are done, they're done differently so that they're not just garbage. Like it used to be when you got a reprinting of something like that, it was kind of worthless because it was, but now there's limited edition. There's actual extra covers to the second and third printings that weren't in the first run. So now it's a collectible. So you're circulating the revenue now, and you're making it fun to collect again because people need to get those. Obviously price gouging is part of it, but I do my best. I can only do my part
because we have scalpers on Absolute DC and on these McFarlane Snyderverse action figures. So it's like scalping.
There's a thumbprint on this one. This one's not for to sell because I've opened it up and read it and shown people so many things of it that my thumbprint is on the top.
And
it's just my reference on.
Like I said, this is if you haven't read Absolute DC right now, you definitely should be because it is like I said, I have not had this much fun and this much excitement reading comics in 6-7 years at least.
Virgin foil cover.
Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, to kind of cap off all of that, we just went through with yeah. So if you are, as we said, if you are somebody, and I know a lot of people in our audience are, we ourselves certainly are, many people out there are somebody of the, are of the stripe of DC fans who want to see the conclusion of what Zack Snyder's arc
That's it.
was intended to be.
Conclusion's all I want.
Yeah, it was always intended to have one. This, as I said, this is our first like real, kind of collection of data and anything related to that since the creation of DC Studios. So if you're somebody who's like really driving for that and pursuing for that, and with how that these, Todd McFarlane did this toy line of them, and the fact that they that it's sold so incredibly well right off the bat, that's that's something to be really happy about. So
this is a conversation you need to have. This is the only language that is going to be heard. Not the hashtags, not the anger, not the vitriol. You now have an inflection point with DC to where you now have people in the room, excluding Peter Safran, fuck him. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But you now have a creative that would be open and might think we open-minded to this. You have a company, a parent company, that will sell the white off of their teeth for money if they can find it there. So this is the language now that you should be spending. We don't even need to speak it anymore. When you're in debt by billions, trust me, you're paying attention to things like this. And like I said, my thing is here when it comes to James Gunn, I think the best pathway for anybody who wants to see a conclusion to this, stop vilifying him. He's not the enemy. He never was the enemy.
I've been saying, just read RJ's comment here. I've been saying for over a year, the best thing that could happen for DC and the Snyder fandom is James Gunn succeeding with Superman at the box office, because the DCU succeeding lets more happen.
Yeah, and also it's that, but you also have to have somebody in there that's operating on a what if type of thing, because like I said, same people for Batman Beyond. Listen, I don't think Batman Beyond's alleged popularity, warrants a live action movie. But guess what? If you are ever going to get a live action Batman Beyond, it's going to be why James Gunn is around, because he doesn't give a fuck. I mean, Batman Beyond has more justification to get made than most of the stuff he's done.
Honestly, I would have thought if he was like when DCC was first started, that kind of Batman Beyond was the kind of thing that would have struck me as like, I would have expected him to do that before I would have expected him to make a Superman movie, to be perfectly honest, just because he comes from his background with Guardians and Suicide Squad and Peacemaker.
I don't think that he would have been allowed to for the first step. I think he will be allowed to afterwards.
Okay, yeah.
Because, like I say, people don't want to hear this. Batman Beyond people, Batman that is not Bruce Wayne is not going to sell to the general public. Not right now. You have some building to do before the general public, just like Miles Morales. People wouldn't have, you just couldn't throw Miles Morales out there and have people buy him as Spider-Man. It took building of the character. It took marketing. It took him being on all kinds of platforms. Everything that Batman Beyond has not done. I'm not saying it can't happen, but you're talking about if your investors hear Batman, the next question out of their mouth is going to be Bruce Wayne. Because if it's not Bruce Wayne, they're not going to give you the money for it. They're not going to give you the money for it.
Archie also had another question. I think you're suggesting like a 12-issue run, and eventually any kind. They're all eventually packaged.
I want 12 issues. I want 12 issues, and then you do your trade paperbacks and stuff like that. And the reason why 12 issues, it's a better sampling. When you put something out there that's all at once, you're sampling. You cannot test the longevity of its impact. If I get consistent sales for a calendar year, I can come to you with balanced numbers. You see what I mean? Because a lot of people are going to say, well, what if there's other factors involved in one shots and things like that make them successful?
Well, yeah, it's the longevity over the course of a year where it's like collected graphic novel. I think William's going to get that fly in a second here. Collected graphic novel, it's great, and eventually, obviously everything gets the collected edition sooner or later. But
we're gonna make that money down the line. So I
that's
say 12 months.
But again, to kind of put a bow on the whole topic here, it's like, everything we're talking about here, that the action figures, everything. You want to talk this company about restoring, resolving, selling, licensing, continuing, whatever. You need data. This is data.
What I always say: speak in the language of the one you want something from. Talk in their language. Otherwise, you may as well be from Mars.
And because of this, now we can talk in their language in a tangible way. So that's pretty awesome. So yes, Aaron, those covers are awesome. And it's like, oh god, I just love and read Absolute DC. Okay, so that's and William, before we came on, he did say, I'm going to largely, or at least the intro to it, he'd leave that to me because this is obviously a topic near and dear to my heart. It's near and dear to both our hearts, but I guess I was the best guy to leave that off. But yes, that is our breakdown on the McFarlane Snyderverse toy line and what kind of data that presents for what the fandom could, make an argument for now. So,
all right.
Aaron says he's trying to kill it like a bug in Starship Troopers.
I'm going to apologize right now. If I violently explode from this chair, it's going to be to kill the fly. It's not because there's anything wrong with me.
Yeah, there it is, flying in front.
You want to die.
Now, something else, because also RJ was and I don't know which topic you want to jump into next as far as New York Comic Con, but I guess this was during. I think I missed this part, but this was during the DC panel that there are now going to be comic book tie-ins to the shows and the movies he's doing.
Yeah, that was his philosophy from the beginning, and that's like he wants you to know where these stories are coming from, which is, like I said, dude, you couldn't ask for a better situation as far as I'm concerned. Obviously, I'm biased, but he's using storylines. I'm gonna have people coming in here looking for Creature Commandos, which I've never had people coming in here looking for Creature.
Well, yeah, because nobody knows who the Creature Commandos are. So
they are. And this is a part of me that really wants Superman to. I mean, listen, I have no stake in the game for Superman failing. I don't think there's going to be a situation where like, oh, it failed. That's what you should have never switched this. And no, don't think of it that way. We can all be happy here. I love the way he's doing this. I love the way the people that are part of the staff are guys like Tom King and people that know the soul of these characters. And I like his ways of playing that. And yes, the this is where the working with Jim Lee thing is going to be very critical, because now remember what I said before a couple of months ago, and people were laughing at me. It can't just be about these movies. If all we're doing is promoting these movies and putting this into that carriage, then this is going to fail. So now what he's doing is he's using his story and spreading it across where the stories come from. So that's a connection. I think that you why not make a Penguin comic? I know we have the Penguin character, but go Black Label and give me one for the show.
That's a good point. Like a
Penguin
comic off of the show, yeah.
That person who buys that doesn't need to be a comic book geek. It's not intimidating for him. If you advertise on Penguin, the show, or whatever you're doing on HBO Max, this is the comic you need to go get. When they come into here, yeah, I'm going to get them that comic. I'm going to tell them, hey, see what you just passed there? That Green Lantern from the Lindelof show that you love so much, with the foil cover and all that. You want more in-depth storytelling with those characters you like? Here, grab this trade paperback here. He's steering them to me, and once they're here, we can take care of it from there.
Yeah, and Aaron's saying, "Oh, William has like monetary reasons to be happy about that."
Yeah, I mean, and I want to. This is something that DC can do, I think, more effectively than Marvel ever could, because DC has characters that are just embedded into the American society. Marvel has some too, but DC has more. They have the characters.
Well, a lot of Marvel characters have been embedded via their role in the MCU.
Yeah. So, whereas prior to that, like I said, everybody knows who these characters are. So I like the way he's doing that. I want to see how it's executed, though. The idea is great. Now how are we executing this? Are we continuing a story in a comic, or are we doing the prequel thing? Either way is good, but as long as you let people know. Now that you've done it, so the people who are watching the screens, you need to let them know there's paper out there. And the people who are buying the paper need to know that, hey, your story continues here. So it's how they execute it and how they communicate it is going to be very important. And right now, the fact that they're even thinking along these lines tells me that they probably have a good plan in place. So kudos.
Yeah, thank you for the one-liner, Clint, about the raid. Well, by the quick side tangent though, it's like this relates to this motion picture that is near and dear to my heart. That is the raid. Seeing the Shadow Strays, as I mentioned, on Netflix. If you are at all a fan of action movies, a fan of martial arts as a genre as I am, run to Netflix and pull up the Shadow Strays. That thing is.
I've seen all the reviews from it today.
Yeah, it is phenomenal. Oh man, it's like it is out of this world.
Was it worth getting kicked off?
Absolutely, it was. To show the trailer, so more of our audience knows about the Shadow Strays. It's for those of you who may not know, it's directed by a guy.
Brad fucked it up for everybody.
It's directed by a guy named Timo Jahanto, who's he co-directed a Headshot with Kimo Stamboel for a Headshot with the Iko Uwais. He later did the Night Comes for Us on Netflix. Now he's got the Shadow Strays. It's kind of about this teenage girl who's part of this part of this underground ring of sort of modern day ninjas, and she kind of develops a little bit of she kind of goes on a side mission because she's kind of getting a little bit disillusioned with it after her last mission. She's trying to rescue this kid, and so it's kind of he described it at one point as a coming of age story, and I think that's very spot on for it because because she is so young, and she's really kind of it's a journey of self-discovery through a lot of really intense action. And like I said, if you are the action martial arts aficionado that I am, you need to pull up the Shadow Strays on Netflix. I promise you, it is like one of the best of the year, hands down. And also, there is a cameo at the end. I won't say who it's with or who it is, but you can tell with this cameo they definitely have the intention to do the Shadow Strays too. And especially with this individual, I say, bring it on, bring it the fuck on. Cliff Notes, love the Shadow Strays, highly recommend it. Okay, so right, yes, it's called the Shadow Strays on Netflix. Okay, so yeah, I got to those big two topics as far as my nerd mind. Or those are the ones I kind of want to jump in the most to from my vantage point tonight. But where do you want to kind of take it with next now as far as all the New York Comic Con stuff?
I'm going to go with the Creature Commandos trailer that I know.
It's cool because I actually haven't watched the trailer yet, so that'll be this is my first time watching it. You guys will be seeing my first reaction to it.
This is the one from today. I hate StreamYard sometimes. Oh, by the way, those of you who are being victimized by StreamYard's $88 price increase, all you got to do is if you look like you're going to click on the cheaper one, they will give you a lifetime discount. It ends up being $53 a month. For those of you who use StreamYard and are worried about that, and it's a lifetime discount. I will never lose that discount. So I found out because I was damn sure not paying $88. In fact, they took it out of my card, and I called those motherfuckers and said, I need you to put that back on my card. And and then they offered me the cheaper one. And then I looked and I let some other people know, and they're taking advantage of it. So if you use StreamYard and you want to keep the features that the $49 plan has and a little bit more, take advantage of that program that they got on there now. All you have to do is click as if you're going to the cheaper one, and it'll say, hey, wait, we want to keep you, so there you go. All right. So here we go. Let's see. I want to make sure it's up and running. Okay. I am slowly warming up to this. So here we go.
General Flagg, you found yourself in the middle of an international incident.
Oh, princess.
The United States is in the business of saving the damn world by any means necessary.
What? Holy hell?
Congress said we can't use human prisoners. These assholes aren't human.
That guy's dead.
Do you understand me now?
Who is she? We call her the Bride.
I was born here.
Who's Jason and the Argonauts?
That's Dr. Phosphorus.
Why are you doing this?
It's business. Sometimes I feel a little mad. What is that then?
The Weasel. We know it has what it takes to survive. That's Nina Mazursky.
Daddy?
Last one is G.I. Robot.
Cheers to the Tin Man.
I know you all aren't exactly enthusiastic about this mission.
I didn't realize I had a choice.
Baby,
You said you wanted me to be a hero.
not like that. with a joy that's hard to hide.
Until we find out the truth of what's going on here.
We're supposed to be on the same damn team.
G.I.
Friend Nina.
And you're bound to see my other side.
Shish kebab!
I'm just a soul whose intentions are good.
You're
This
always
is
so hyperbolically
Levi.
violent. You need therapy.
Hold on, please don't let me. Hold on, please don't let me. Please don't let me. Please don't let me.
You wanted monsters.
Don't let me.
You got monsters.
Don't let me. Hold on, please don't let me be misunderstood. Die, Nazi. He's not a Nazi, GI.
Oh, okay.
All right. Couple things. A little of it reminds me of Suicide Squad, but in a better way than the one he did before, where the characters were disposable. These characters aren't disposable. You are meant to grow with them over time. So that's a plus right there for me. I will keep with my references as far as what it reminds me of: Inglourious Bastards and Doom Patrol. If you took those
Yeah,
two
I
and
can
put
see
them
about
together,
that.
made a cartoon. I'm on board with it. I'm on board with it. I don't know how this is the beginning, but you know.
Well, yeah, because I mean again, that's the thing that we're that still really has not been given. That I'm not still clear on. I think a lot of people aren't, and I mean, this might once the show drops, we might, and especially once the Superman movie drops, we might finally get some clarity on this. But because this is taking off from the events of the Suicide Squad, and of course Peacemaker is also continuing, and he kind of addressed that on the panel today, where he said like there are references to things that happened in the past that are, because they're referenced, they're now canonized in this universe. You know, I'm still I get I mean obviously Elseworlds is a concept that's very central to DC, but just the way this is being set up, just I feel like we could use a lot more clarity to it, especially especially because again it's taking off from very specific events and projects in DCEU going to DCU. So, and then of course if that's what you're doing is like kind of like what you said, it's like if he's not the enemy of what a lot of fans are chasing after, so does that suggest he's leaving? He was leaving the door open more so than we thought.
Because he doesn't have to mention it. To be honest with you, he does not have to answer that question in any way, shape, or form yet. When he does, he does. But he doesn't have to answer it now. All this stuff can be left here. It's just like every comic book character in the world lives in New York. But when Galactus comes down to New York, Spider-Man's not affected, even though he lives in Manhattan. So there's enough real estate here to where you focus on what you're doing necessarily. When Batman is away from Gotham for weeks, Detective Comics is still telling me a Batman story. So he can look at this and produce this from any angle he wants to. And if he wants to answer those questions, he can address that at that time. Just because they're not being woven into a story now doesn't mean they never will, or will they at all. Because like I said, if you can bring up certain aspects of the things that have been canon without bringing up others, and unless they are part of your current, and this is what DC needed to fucking learn back before Crisis. You didn't need to explain away the older Superman and the Earth 1's Earth 2. You didn't explain that. All you needed to do is tell the story from your point of view, where you're at, or you want your readers to be. That is where you focus their attention. I don't need you to explain the shit that's not on your page. And I think that's what he's doing here now. From what I could see, once we get more information, that assertion might change. But from what I can tell now, he's focusing on what he's working on and leaving things where they are at as far as that goes, because it doesn't make any sense for him to necessarily create a new universe to explain it away necessarily, or create an elsewhere. He doesn't need to do that. Everything that has happened in the universe that he started his Suicide Squad with could still be going. He just doesn't have to refer to anything else right now. And if he refers to it, it can be in the abstract. You know what I mean?
Well, and also even back when when it was made, it was still a lot of it was in the abstract because everything was so, because of the regime it was under, everything was so haphazard and lackadaisical as far as any kind of connective tissue being established or supported. I mean, he had said it's like they told me, it's like, yeah, we don't know which Superman Bloodsport put in the ICU. It's like, so like I said, it's like, for all as far as their thinking was concerned at the time, that could have been, that could have been Dean Cain. But I mean, and there's part of me also kind of has wondered, is he kind of like retconning the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker kind of almost as like he's retconning them out of the DCU and into this universe? Is there maybe is that kind of what's going on here?
Either that, or he's just basically making it to where he's just not referring to anything that's currently not what he's directly working on. So the characters that are relevant to the story that he's telling now are what's going to get mentioned, and if they're not, they don't. And that you know what, he's the one with the laser right now. He can point our attention to where he wants us to be. And as long as he's not referring to those characters, he doesn't have to right now. Now, I don't know what his ultimate solution will be for that, if there is one. But right now, he doesn't have to worry about that. He doesn't have to worry about that, because by the time when he gets to Superman and all these other things, he can refer to whatever he wants to. If he wants to retcon that, and like I said, remember when I said I don't think he's going to do a full-on reboot? I used a term called selective realignment, and everybody looked at me like I grew goat horns and goat hooves. And it's basically what it is. Writers in comic books do it every single day. They retell origins of the characters that they are working on, but they don't always necessarily need to retcon everything around there. If it's not relevant to that particular character that they're telling, they leave that alone, or they will align whatever history is currently there enough to fit the character that they're in, the story that they're working on. I mean, every major person who's taken over a comic book in some aspect has done that to a certain degree. So like I said, just based on what I can see right now, that's my guess. But it's a guess. It's a guess. That's all it is.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll get some clarity with that in the next couple of months. But yeah, let's wait. We got the show coming up. Pretty close now, about 6 weeks or so. We're gonna definitely ring in start a holly jolly Christmas. A lot of blood and guts in this, as Aaron puts it, weird looking cartoon. Although I will say, for as bloody as that trailer was, William,
that is very violent.
Oh, William, 3Ds, Shadow Strays has it beat, man. I'm just saying. I just really, this is you guys know me, and like my love of Indonesian action movies and martial arts films, and yes, this definitely that spot for me. So Frank Grillo also, for those of you who may not know, I actually got the chance to interview him about 3 years ago now. This is before he was involved in anything DC related, but yeah, he's pretty pretty chill dude. He actually, when the call started, when like Zoom pulls up and I can see him, he can see me. I'd never talked to him before. I'd never bumped into him in a con, anything. It's my first time ever having interaction with Frank Grillo. First words he says to me out of his mouth are, "Hey, buddy." So he's definitely he's not standoffish or any kind of he's very chill, very down to earth dude. So it's a real pleasure talking to him.
All right, if it fails,
well, I don't think they're like creature commandos. I mean, you can't have the same barometer of success for that as you would for a Superman movie. I mean,
plus it's on HBO Max. I don't think that. I think there are certain things that they're looking for, and like I said, I can't truly answer this question, Chuck, simply because I don't know what their expectations are. Because failure is not up to us as fans. Failure is up to the people who put the money for it, and I need to know their expectations before I say something's a bomb or something's a failure. Well, I'm talking out of my ass if I say something's a failure and I don't know the parameters of what they wanted.
The only thing, again, that I think probably would give a lot of people, wherever angle of the fandom you're coming at this from, a little bit of a pause or concern, and this also, I mean, this kind of plays into what we've always talked about is like, we're waiting on the next owners of the company in this inevitable next sale or merger. Is if it's one thing for James Gunn to be, as reasonable as possible in his expectations of the performance of the show or of other projects in the franchise, but does David Zaslav have that same kind of patience? And
not even David Zaslav, his bosses, the shareholders. So yeah, that's why I can't answer this question, honestly, because I don't know if David Zaslav had
and I'm not asking
conversation, or did he have an honest conversation?
Yeah, and that's I'm not asking that question flippantly either. I mean, because
I know what you mean though.
Because Zaslav, as we've talked about, it's like he strikes me as a we talked about like what you said about did they have a behind the scenes conversation of we're going to have to the fact that we're having to reconstruct so much from how badly the past regime handled the DCIP. It's we're going to have to weather a storm here in the initial stages, but let's just come through that. Let's just try to see it through. And you would ask, it's like, okay, hopefully that's a conversation they've had. But, and then the question I asked is based on stuff, David Zaslav has said, and moves he's made publicly, what are the odds that's the conversation he had? And again, I'm not asking that flippantly. I'm just, this is the dude who's done tax write-offs on movies that haven't been released. So, whether or not we think, as William says, they should have been made or not, that's kind of immaterial to what I'm asking on that. So, and that's again,
it is a little bit different because the potential. See, you're talking about movies that should have never been made, that didn't have any real potential to earn to begin with, and it should have been thought out. This is something that he's been here. This is his. This is right. While Zaslav is here, this is his. That other stuff, it was ill thought out and should have never been done. But this is something he initiated. So I think if he is gonna make a case, depending on what case he did, he probably made a much better case. There's a better case to keep this alive and not really, I don't think you're at any risk for anything new being written off. The other stuff, like I said, it's a lot easier to write things off that should have never happened to begin with. Then especially if there's shit that you inherited. That's the worst stuff that you have to do.
And what we talked about is like when this, because whatever we think about the plans for the future going forward. Again, the reality of the matter is the company is not in a good state, and we've talked about it's like it's the writing's on the wall for somebody another company to do another merger, another buyout, and I think you'd suggested like Apple, or not just the fact that Apple or Amazon or Microsoft are the ones that are best positioned.
Yeah, Microsoft.
The best ones. Well, they're the ones best positioned, A, financially to do that, but also B, to come in with their own ideas about what to do with DC that doesn't necessarily entail like putting the axe to what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think they could exploit the IPs, and I actually think, like I said, so say for instance, if it's Amazon, which is who I think it should be, say it's Amazon, there's nothing. They don't benefit from disrupting him necessarily. They will do their own thing, but he may even be open to that because you know what? That's more money coming towards his studio. If it's all under DC Studios and DC Studios is a property of Amazon, he just got his budget. He just got basically unlimited money, and he will probably be smart enough to piggyback his shit onto whatever they're doing so he can get some of that cash. So it's all business. But like I said, to answer Chuck's question, I don't think you will be able to tell just based on what we know as outsiders. And like I said, by the time this comes out, the company could be sold or things could be settled down.
Yeah.
Things could be settled down. Maybe there's a smooth transition. Maybe there's a transition, and I never thought this could be the case, but maybe there's a transition to where conversations are had prior to the purchase or merger being made to where, hey, I'm going to have an honest conversation with you. It's in your best interest to not, blow up this thing necessarily. If you're going to do your own thing, do your own thing. We have proven now we're in a different place than we were even just 6 months ago to where we can entertain different versions of different characters and still collect the money. So it's going to be interesting for sure, but don't have an answer for you, Chuck. I hope to have one soon.
Again, the only thing that's, the only thing as far as like what what's publicly available. I mean, I mean, it'd be great to get like the fully transparent data for anything out there, but I mean, which they never do.
I want it, but they're never going to give it up.
But as far as like the data that is made available publicly, which is only like partial, semi-representative data. I mean, all that really is good for the public. It's just fandoms having dick measuring contests about like whose preferred creator did better on HBO Max. So it's
and like I said, by the time that all gets rolling, we're the people who are doing that. Once all this stuff is happening one way or another, are going to look real stupid because they're going to be having conversations that aren't relevant to the everyday operations one way or another. So I'm going to go ahead and bet that those people don't disappear, but they don't take up as much of the people who are rooting. Well, Zack Snyder couldn't do that. Nobody's going to give a fuck about those people if this all starts to even out. The people who are like, well, fuck James Gunn, he's a this or he's a that. Those people are going to become irrelevant because if this would have happened this way, there's enough for everybody to be spending their time enjoying it. See, when you anger, you have to have time for anger. And if you're enjoying content and consuming the content, then you don't have enough. That goes away. So I think that there's a like I said, you're never going to get this opportunity again. I don't think where everything lines up for DC as it is right now. And I hope that what I'm seeing is them seeing that and taking advantage of that. Jim Lee, James Gunn, even David Zaslav to a point, Abdi, DeLuca, everybody who has a hand in this machine, I hope they're all looking outside of their offices and looking into the other offices and saying, this can work, man.
Yeah, that was a hell of a motorcycle going out there, too.
That was an unnecessary roll out there, too, but he's not even going.
Well, I think this is kind of what William's saying here. Well, but it's more just the DCU. It's more just like the kind of like the whole company as far as like everything going on with Absolute DC right now and the action figure stuff we were talking about earlier.
And like I said, the movies are not the end all be all, but they can be part of it. Synergy, that interdependency where one thing, it's like relay. I throw it to you, you throw it back to me, I throw it to the other guy. We keep the ball in our park and we continue to make that revenue. And you get people excited about everything. I said getting people excited about the DCU and the movies, that's great, but that's not going to save you. You're headed downward anyway. But if you get them excited about all aspects of your company, that brand, every time that they see that circle in that corner, see that DC, every time when everybody sees that, no matter where they see it, at the Walmart, at the mall, at the toy store, at Star Wars, anywhere that you have that DC logo, you want that logo to have that drawing effect that, ooh, what are they up to now? The same effect when you turn on HBO on Sunday night and that intro with that zoom, that static comes, you know what you're about to be in for. You may not even know what it is, but you trust that brand. And that's what they really need to do. Brand trust and brand excitement. The trust is big, but the excitement is just as important. Right now, I've been selling DC for a long, long time. They know the brand already, but now they're excited about this. I got people, Wonder Woman, Ultimate, Absolute is going to sell out. I know it's going to sell out. And he's already done the right thing. Scott Snyder handled this beautifully. He handled this beautifully. And I hope James Gunn takes a page out of that book. Now, movies are different, but it's still the brand. Scott Snyder and James Gunn and Jim Lee all have one thing in common: DC. If they put that brand first and everything else starts to come out under that, I think they have a once in at least 30 or 40 year juncture in time right now to make this work. Got Penguin going on, got the Batman coming up, you got Absolute DC happening. Now you have James Gunn DC, you have Creature, you have all these things happening right now. It could blow up and they could all go different directions and be as divisive as ever, or you can make it work. They can make it work right, but right now is it though. Like I said, I can't tell you where we're going to be 2-3 years from now. But right now, I hope somebody's paying attention because they could be in a really, really nice place and they could set themselves up for years to come. And whoever does purchase the company, they're purchasing a much more valuable company because the DC IP now becomes priceless now. because the potential income that you can make is not just a movie. It's the movie, the comic book, the toy, the fucking popcorn bucket, anything you can add on to that. You are now talking franchise level money. And I just hope they get it. I hope they get it. I wish them well.
All right. Capping that off, do we want to go ahead and well, actually, before we go, speaking of absolute DC, maybe kind of like the kind of cap off everything on DC specifically tonight. Do you want to go ahead and like show some of the Martian Manhunter stuff?
Yeah, let me.
Because again, this was pleasant news to me today. Because the prior to this, the absolute DC characters with their solo books that we knew were happening were Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, or Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Flash, Green Lantern. In that order. And now it's we're adding Martian Manhunter to that. All right. Him having his own book is very sporadic, especially these days.
Well, it tells me where they're going. All right. So comicbook.com. Thank you, Matthew Aguilar, for your article today. Absolute Martian Manhunter and Absolute Green Lantern detailed by DC. DC has been busy at New York Comic Con with a number of major announcements across its main universe line. But the Absolute universe got some love as well, including new up-close looks and details of Absolute Green Lantern and the latest addition to the Absolute to the line, Absolute Martian Manhunter. Bringing Absolute Martian Manhunter to life is creative team of Dennis Camp, making his DC debut, and artist Javier Rodriguez. And the new series will hit comic book stores in March of 2025. That's not that far away. Martian Manhunter will join the Absolute universe with Wave 2 lineup. Oh, fuck. Not having a stroke. I'm okay. Absolute Wave 2 lineup, which also features Absolute Flash and Absolute Green Lantern. Speaking of Green Lantern, we got more details on Absolute Green Lantern from the team of writer Al Ewing and artist, I fucked this up last time, Janoy Lindsay. Ewing revealed that how Scott Snyder convinced him to join the Absolute line, and between the cover and what was said in the panel, or they showed the cover, I guess we know that Joe, Hal, John, and Guy all will have some role in the series. Okay. Where's Kyle Rayner? Never mind. All right, you see me when I'm doing big stuff. I'm doing big stuff on this one. Part of this book is, what Green Lantern is. You do not know what Green Lantern in the Absolute universe is. First time anyone sees it, there's a giant Green Lantern that's crushed a town. Oh, okay. Lantern in the book is the Green Lantern in the book is an object. Ewing said via DCU updates. All right, a truly different Martian Manhunter. After Martian Manhunter, Camp took to social media and shared some of the behind-the-scenes details on the series and their approach. And it's difficult not to get hyped about it. On X, Twitter, Camp wrote, "This is probably the most radical reinvention of the Absolute line so far." Wow, that's saying something. And I think it's a testament to the atmosphere and the creative freedom that the editors and Scott Snyder have fostered on this line. He has he is his book's greatest champion. Basically, Scott Snyder and I have a 3-hour-long consult, blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right, so wow, fireworks. Okay.
Yeah, well, they're talking about the reinvent. I mean, this Martian Manhunter
look at
biologically is a Cyclops. So,
and I can barely make out that Green Lantern cover as far as like what it is, but I don't know who that is as far as the Green Lantern goes.
Not Jessica Cruz.
No, it looks like it's a woman though. So, all right, I can get a better view of it, I guess. Well, there you go, right there. This Martian Manhunter looks like something out of Shade the Changing Man. That's really reminds me of. That's good news. I was surprised to hear this as well. All right, so what do you guys think about that? Oops, hold on, messed up my. There we go. What do you guys chat? What do you guys think about that? Are you excited about the Absolute? Are you excited about the Absolute universe in general? And that's not just the people that are here right now. This is going to be for the people that will watch this show later on. What are your thoughts about? And I had a guy come in today. I sold some Absolute stuff to him today. I sold him all in number 4, and I sold him a copy of Absolute number 1. And I'm hearing this over and over again from the people I sold it to is that they've been out for a while, but they heard about this. That's what you want to hear when you're DC. You want to hear that your brand still has it. All it needs was that spark to bring people back. and now that's happening. So this is good. But leave questions or not questions, but comments in the comment section. How do you feel so far about DC? Are you somebody who's never collected comics before, and this is getting you into it? Are you somebody who's journeyed away from it a little bit, and now this is getting you back in? I really want to hear this because, to be honest with you, that's data that I can use because I get people from all over the nation coming to Vegas, picking up stuff, and sometimes they're out of town when their comic book store gets these, and they haven't held, and they come here.
Well, like you said, the majority of your business is tourist based.
Yeah, Phil ordered a Absolute Batman from me. So, and I was going to send RJ if he needed one, but
okay. Well, I think that covers everything DC related today. So you want to go ahead and jump over to Marvel now?
Yeah, I am going to. I'm going to let you talk about Daredevil. If you want to go ahead and pull up what you have at there, do not.
Yeah, because unlike Creature Commandos, this is a trailer we can't play because it's not been released officially yet.
And it's at what they showed today was not actually it was actually it's a trailer. So Stranger Worlds showed the actual piece of the thing. So yeah, let's
okay, so damn it, where's well, I mean, without showing the trailer, there's only so much we can really do. Also,
yeah, that's what I really wish they would have. Has it been released yet? Let's check. Has it been released yet?
No, I don't think it has. Which is really just so perplexing.
Because I really planned on it being released.
Yeah, but here's the news we got about it. Daredevil. I almost said Absolute Daredevil. Daredevil Born Again is confirmed to have 9 episodes, and it will be released. It will start on Disney Plus on I think probably also cross streaming on Hulu on March 4th, 2025. So that's actually pretty close, which makes also makes it that much more of like, why are you not putting out the trailer right now? I mean, you're getting
there's like 30 leaks on here already, and
so that's pretty cool. Again, the best we can kind of do is describe some of the trailer, which is, I mean, it's very in sync with the Netflix show. I mean, that's the best, and that they've been making that, they've really been emphasizing that since they did, kind of hit the brakes and did the overhaul. So that's really encouraging to hear. The big change format wise is that it was initially going to be, I think, 18 episodes, and now they've
which I really wish they would have kept. That would have been revolutionary. But hey,
well, and because on Marvel Netflix, usually it was 13 episodes a season. The only ones that didn't do that was Defenders and Iron Fist season 2. The Defenders was 8, and Iron Fist season 2 was 10. But all the others, every other show, every other season, they were 13 episodes apiece.
Stop this shit. Stop this. I know you guys are watching this show. I know you're watching this show. You're probably William's pants or the bed. It's probably you guys. Stop this. Stop this. You spend the same amount of money making longer seasons than you do you spend the same. You're already there. You're already there. The people are already under contract. You already got the people there. It will be cheaper for you to give me 12 to 15 episodes. I don't need 22 or 26. I need more than 8 or 9. You think I'm not going to be shaking in this corner with withdrawals once Penguin's over with? Waiting 2 years for season 2? You think how long? Dude, the Stranger Worlds kid or the Stranger Things kids are going to have grandkids before season 5 hits. Stop this.
I get 10 episodes of Superman and Lois, the final season. So that's
you're wrapping it up.
But it used to be 15.
In season, you can't give me 26. Fine. Meet me in the middle. Give me 12. Give me 15. I guarantee you the cost of doing this is negligible. They're already there. There are scenes that you're filming that you could do this. I don't know why they do this. I've studied this and I've looked and I'm like, because I'm trying to think of it from their point of view. Why wouldn't you be able to do this? But when you look at the logistics of these shows, yeah, they're expensive to make, but you're already spending a certain amount of money. What more? I don't know, man. Just do it, damn it.
Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, let me see. There's one other bit of news that came about Daredevil. I don't know if it's necessarily shocking, but it is also very much awesome to hear. Let me see if I can find it. Well, a couple of things. Well, first of all, this is one bit was that Daredevil will drop an F-bomb. This is a Collider exclusive. They got a couple of exclusives on Collider. One is that he will drop an F-bomb on the on Born Again, and also was in also Charlie Cox teased. He's teased there will be another really crazy one-shot hallway fight. That was another Collider exclusive. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Which like that one. It's good to hear, but it's like that's also kind of a staple of the show. So it's
yeah, but not everybody. They don't always live up to their legend, man. So it's good to hear that they are here. Golf clap.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Matt Murdock. Yeah, yes, he will F-bomb. It's the first Disney Plus shit. So I get cinematically, Marvel gets their first F-bomb in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. TV wise, it's gonna be a Daredevil Born Again. So
pretty weird when you can count them on two fingers, huh?
Yeah, well, that's why I say it's like DC. Fans like we get our F-bombs early. It's like we get them like right at the beginning of the movie. But yeah, then let me see if I can find the other one with Daredevil. Bear with me here, guys. Yeah, here we go.
While you're doing that,
yeah, here it is. Charlie Cox teases a very long, very cool fight scene. Daredevil Born Again. I mean, obviously,
that's old.
It's very clear. I am a big lover of the art of fight choreography cinematically. So that's and that's always been one of the great features of Daredevil for me. And one thing, because I did a piece on Screen Rant a few years ago where I talked about, I think it'd be really, because they kept just through the first 3 seasons, they just kept ramping up. Each one-shot fight, it'd be longer and more elaborate. So I thought it'd be kind of cool if they did one episode that was an entire just like one shot, just like action scene. Just like one episode that was just that was like that hallway fight just blown up to a whole episode. So maybe maybe we'll get my wish. So, but yes, so we're the staple of Daredevil. Let's see if we got his quote down here. We did a Wonder season. Yeah. Sometimes you get a little more freedom. You can do like so. We have a very long, very cool stitch together one in the new season. I'm not going to say which episode. But yes, so we'll see that in March. We will see that in March.
Like I said, if this all works out, a geek like me is going to be living high off the hog. Can you? I mean, would you just just this year alone? I'm getting Daredevil. I'm getting Fantastic Four. I've already seen live action Galactus now because I was at Comic-Con. I wish you guys had seen it already. That what they pulled off at Comic-Con was great. I really like this show. I love Daredevil. Daredevil is probably my favorite Marvel book to read.
Hands down, but that's the best show they've done.
Yeah, it's been I still, for me, Loki edges it out, but it's not a big gap. It's like this. I love the character development, Loki. Loki gave me something I did not expect to get out of that series. I got what I wanted, what I thought. The levels that I set for Daredevil, Netflix met those levels, and it didn't give me anything I didn't expect. And that's not a bad thing. I wasn't expecting much out of Loki when I first happened up. I thought it was going to be stupid. WandaVision. I wasn't a big fan of WandaVision, and it's not stupid. It's really good. I think it's by an inch, the best thing, the best show that Marvel has, that they have done. Now, remember this is a different regime and everything else. They've adapted everything, but at the time, this was still a Netflix thing. Now it is a Marvel thing, an MCU thing. So I am just hoping that they continue to keep consistent with what was started over there. And I think they can. But right now, Loki's just this much, and I don't know how Loki's going to be affected because of the whole Jonathan Majors situation. But at the same time, Loki can work with Doom. See, people forgot about Loki. Forgot about the last thing you see Loki doing in season 2. Last thing you see him sitting in this throne holding all of reality together. What are we about to go into? Secret Wars, all these multiversal things. Who do you think's holding that together? That's all Loki. Loki is going to be sending his recruits to fight Doctor Doom's recruits over time. They are going to be fighting for control of that multiverse. So I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm not necessarily excited for Superman 2025. I'm intrigued. I'm ready for Superman 2025. I'll get there when it comes to Lanterns and all these other ones. But you know what? If I'm excited about the brand of DC and it looks like the brand is rolling together, then guess what I'm going to be by default excited about? I'm going to be excited about James Gunn's Superman. So the ball is in their court. All they got, it's right there. It's a slam dunk. It's the ball's in the hand of a 7'5" person and standing under a 6 or 7 foot or 10 foot tall basket. That's a slam dunk. I hope they do it because I think the comic book world, especially for me, is better when you give more people reasons to come into the stores for.
All right. Jorg asked, why does William like pants? We all like pants, man. Pants are cool.
Fourth 1000 was obsessed with my pants. So
yes. We like pants because it's like if we didn't have pants, we'd run around naked. So
some people in our chat would be okay with that, I guess.
Yeah. So, okay, I think that covers everything DC and Marvel related. So I think I'm gonna let you have the floor as far as the Star Trek stuff.
All right, I can't even show it. When I made the thumbnail, I thought I would be able to show it.
They didn't put that trailer out either?
No, they put it there's a it's out, but it's a clip. And when I ran it past the copyright thing to see if I could show it, it said it would take us up because it's not a trailer. Yeah, a trailer I can show. Let me see this real quick because
I'll be right back while you're doing that.
All right, because I had it pulled up. NYCC because it was nice and it's all right. So everything that's on here is an exclusive clip and it's 3 minutes. I don't think I can play this, but if you're in the Strange New World, it picks up right where they left off. They're fighting the Gorn, and this thing shows them literally going toe to toe with the Gorn. If you watch the last season finale, it was great. It was intense. They're fighting the Gorn, and that's where they pick up off with season 3. For the exclusive clip from Lower Decks is them. They're on the bridge of the Cerritos. They've all been like, are they all back to Instant again? Hold on for a second. Hold on, because I didn't. Oh no, they're still lieutenants. Yeah, I wish I could play this. Like I said, they didn't. They actually, Paramount actually came with full-on clips of their shows. So every time I show a clip, I get taken down. Yeah, let's put it in the chat. Good idea, Clint. All right, so here's the one from Lower Decks. Put that in there for you. Bam, there we go. And this is going to be the one from Strange New Worlds. Strange New Worlds, by the end of it all, may end up becoming my favorite Star Trek show. I love Anson Mount as that character. From the moment he was in Discovery season 2, there's just a line that he says that I think embodies all of Star Trek. When Ensign Tilly is she's stranded somewhere, and then they're debating on whether they should risk the ship to go get her. And Captain Pike, this is an all-time quote, and he gets on the intercom, ship's intercom. He says, "Starfleet is a promise. I give my life for you, you give your life for me, and nobody gets left behind." To me, you could have said that in any era of Star Trek, and it would have meant something. Because all of Star Trek, that's what all of Star Trek has been. Kirk risked his career, stole the Enterprise, got demoted, wished everything to go back and get Spock. To go back and so that Spock could reunite, he could reunite his Katra that has been stored into McCoy. He risked everything for that. And Star Trek, First Contact, when Captain Picard tells everybody to abandon the ship, he stays on there. Why? Because Data was on there, and he was being held captive by the Borg Queen. And I remember him telling Alfred Woodard's character, I can't leave him behind. 6 years ago, this entire crew risked everything to come back and get me when I was in the thralls of the Borg. So he couldn't see. So when he says that, I mean, that was like I said, Anson mounts Captain Pike. To me, if I were going to introduce you into Star Trek and I didn't want to just put so much weight of 58 years on you, I could start you out with this. I know my old homie Robert Myron, he hates these shows. Me and him are both Generation Xers, and I have all the respect for his opinion in the world. But me and him diverge on this. I'm a generation. I love this show. I love New Trek, and I really love Strange New Worlds. I wish I could show you this square. The stakes are always high, but the fun is always there. Though it's not a dark, constantly dark and gloomy show. It is consistent, in my opinion, to what Star Trek has always been. You know, and I think these shows get a lot of heat. But here's the thing, though. In the era of cutbacks and everything else, you don't get more of something that's not working. We're getting more. They've already guaranteed that we're getting a fourth season of Strange New World. So even though there's a lot of people out there that are detractors, like I said, the language that is spoken in business is numbers. And I am happy, you know. Now, when it comes to Lower Decks is different. It's a cartoon. And a lot of Star Trek fans see that, and a lot of people in general see animation as a lesser form. You know how I feel about 90s animation, but animation in general, I don't see as a lesser form if it's a strictly consistently adult oriented. And a lot of the stuff that's on Lower Decks is inside adult humor. That is it's not a kid's show, but that's getting 5 years, man. 5 years. So Star Trek, I think, is in a good place. Old Trek fan is hanging on for dear life, man. Old Trek fan is like, you know, the alien, you know, and when Ripley opened up the airlock and the aliens hanging on, that's old Trek fan. And I don't know what they're hanging on to. You know, nothing's going to happen to the old Trek that we all know and love. You know, and if you like the original series, if you like Next Generation, these new things, it's not like, you know, a termite that's going to come in and chew up your old Trek memories. You know, you always have them. Paramount's got every damn episode of Star Trek ever made right there. So like I said, Strange New Worlds it's fast becoming my favorite show. I wish I could show you this. I thought I was going to be able to, but like I said, I didn't want to get bratted and get us taken down. So I put them in the chat. Enjoy it. I thank you guys. If you're not already on board with this show, it's available for you right now. It's, you know, it's one of these 10 episode type shit, so it doesn't take you that long to get through it. So, but all right, let's see what is for. I'm ignoring fourth. All right, let's see. They're hanging on to a Manhunter. Hey, listen, Manhunter. What are our numbers of that show? Did you guys did people watch that after we were done?
Yeah,
I really enjoyed showing you guys that. That's one of my favorite movies to introduce people to. The other one is obviously Blade Runner. All I need to know is that you haven't seen Blade Runner, and I'll fucking take care of that. You know, I mean, I think it did all right for a late night Friday night stream. Holy shit! Okay, apparently you guys like Halloween. We're not even. How many hours away did we do that? We ended that up
like 4 hours ago.
Yeah. Wow. You know what? I never thought the channel would do as many watch-alongs. I just thought it was like something, you know, we did every now and then we did for charities and shit like that. Those things bring in like the highest numbers that we have.
Yeah. We're already at 270 on that.
Yeah, we're at 270. I can't get over Spider-Man 2. I just still can't believe how many people.
We should play the raid again and do it.
Those numbers weren't that high.
Yes, they were. Great.
You can pull them up.
Yeah. No, William screwed with the numbers to mess with me.
Oh, okay, yeah. I wish I had that control. Where's Kill Bill? Wow, Kill Bill did a lot. And the double features are the ones that people like the most too, which is I can't always do those, but I'm just looking. Even Star Trek Troopers, not the okay. We're at 714 for Spider-Man 2. That's insane. Not a new movie. I want to do Alien Romulus. I think we'll do well with Alien Romulus too.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you saw this. There's actually going to be a VHS, limited edition of Alien Romulus.
Oh, that's nice. don't know who's gonna fucking play it, but okay. But, all right.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
I guess it's just a collector's item, man. All right. Now, some of the best news that I had all day, we're getting Vertigo back.
Oh yeah, well I guess this takes us back to DC then.
Yeah, Marvel really didn't do a lot today. They blew their wad at the D23, which is fine. I hold Vertigo close to the heart because of where it was at its height, and stop with the ads, and where I was at as a young dealer coming up. We're right along with each other. Vertigo hit its its peak in the mid 90s, where people were looking for things other than superheroes, and The Crow helped with that. A lot of musicians that were around at the time, they were connected to a lot of these things, like Delirium with Tori Amos. People made the connection to her. Robert Smith from The Cure, a lot of people connected him to Morpheus. It was just that culture. If you were listening to that music too, you were more. I know back in the day, I always tell you guys, the mid 90s, there will never be another 5-year period. That was 1995 to 1998 when the Buzz Bin music came along. Vertigo, in my opinion, if you could hear Vertigo comics, it's alternative music and vice versa. Jonah Hex, Sandman, House of Dreams, Swamp Thing, Doom Patrol, which the version of Doom Patrol that you see on that show, which is a brilliant show, in my opinion, comes from the Vertigo version of there. Shade the Changing Man was a really abstract concept, and they were allowed to do whatever they wanted to because they weren't necessarily messing around with the mainline DC universe. These were disposable characters that you could either do what you want to do. If you did something controversial, and Death, oh, by the way, Death, The Time of Your Life, probably one of the best miniseries ever done, and Death, The High Cost of Living. I have them both here. And once again, if you come in here and you tell me, oh, I love that Sandman on Netflix, good chance that you might be walking out with this. And now, when they brought back the Sandman, when they brought back Jonah Hex, when they brought back Dream Country and all these other things, it was under the DC Black Label. The DC Black Label is basically an offshoot brand that allows basically your mainline characters to be raunchy and more violent and in its own universe. They decided to go ahead and couple up all the Vertigo stuff that was coming through with this. Now it appears that these are going to be two separate brands, and the Vertigo brand is back. It should have never went away. Kids and young adults and people in their mid-20s in the 90s, we were going through a lot of shit. And you could hear it in the music that was being produced. There was no internet. There was no chat. Most of us didn't have cell phones. None of us had cell phones. All right. So you only had certain vessels and outlets. And Neil Gaiman recognized this. Neil Gaiman is the engine of Vertigo, as far as I'm concerned. He's not the only writer, but he's the guy that shed the light on everybody. And there was some deep shit going on in Vertigo Press. Death, The Time of Your Life, just what death is. And you apply that to normal humans going through everyday things in comics. That was deep in the late 80s, early 90s. That's why when they did that show for Netflix and they did her word for word like that, that was beautiful. And I'm glad they did that because now the literature is a lot easier for people to digest. So let me go ahead and read this article real quick. I'm going to read it in my speed, not Brad's superhuman flash speed. All right. Vertigo to return to DC Comics in 2024, 2025. Who wrote this? Thought Bubble Gossip. I want to give credit to the author, but this is a weird format. Update. This story has now been confirmed by DC Comics at New York Comic Con 2024. The original article continues. I'm currently working with Betty's and Harrogate after the conclusion of the Thought Bubble Comic Con. All right, hold on. I'm going to get to the actual. The biggest gossip was last night with DC Comics, and the gossip is in 2024, or at this stage, more likely 2025, DC Comics will be bringing back Vertigo. This was a mature reader's line that brought together darker takes on existing DC Universe characters such as Swamp Thing, John Constantine, Doom Patrol, Animal Man, Swamp Thing, and Sandman, as well as semi-creator-owned series like Preacher, Transmetropolitan, which is an immensely popular series, The Invisibles, Scalp, Testament, and so much more. And okay, so in 2020, Bleeding Cool broke the news that DC was to shutter Vertigo. We stated that some books would move to Black Label and some would no longer be published. We were told repeatedly that we were wrong and we were talking nonsense. Well, American Vampire moved to Black Label. Image Comics announced they'd be publishing SFX Safe Sex, previously announced as coming from Vertigo, and finally DC made it official that they were going to shutter Vertigo and more besides. The DC Inc. and DC Zoom imprints launched with such pomp and circumstances a few years ago would also be done away with. The command came from the previous big boss, Pamela Lifford. There's a familiar name that I hurts to hear. Who had an aversion to imprints. Certain projects were folded in the DC Black Label line intended only as reading age signifier. Well, Pamela Lifford is gone now. Yes, she is. And in her wake, DC is looking to bring back Vertigo, the Vertigo line. The Black Label line is generally for short-run comics, but Vertigo, which will encompass the Sandman Presents line, will include ongoing series. Right now, they are just talking DC Comics characters and IP treatments, but there is talk about the returning to the creator-owned spirit for long-running titles. Apparently, some of the impetus for this has come from DC and Warner Brothers executives' nostalgia for what Vertigo used to bring to the company. Okay, that's important. Let me read that again. Apparently, some of the impetus for this has come from DC and Warner Brothers executives nostalgic for what Vertigo used to bring to the company. They're starting to look closer at the company they got. We're starting, like I said, over and over again, we're starting to have conversations and entertain things we could not even just, 3 months ago. And it can have been hindered by the recent success of Bodies, only made into a Netflix series when the rights had eventually been returned from DC Comics Vertigo. That's another good thing to hear, and hindered before that. And when Vertigo returns, the lessons learned in DC and Warner should be more open to such projects. Exactly. This is just in the very early stages, of course, but it's enough that people are talking about it, and it's actually been announced. It's not even this came out before the actual announcement. Maybe we'll learn more at San Diego Comic-Con 2024. This was actually older. No, this was I think he meant to say 2025. Oops, that's a typo, dude. Oh, San Diego, or the year for San Diego 2025, like we have with Sandman Presents. Certainly. Ooh, wow, there's typos here. I'm not the only one. This shit's published. The return of Elseworlds imprint at DC is a sign DC Comics is no longer averse to bringing back his classic imprints. This is all good things. This is everything that they're listening to the show, Brett. I figured it out. They're listening to the show. My first clue was the idea that I left for DC.
Oh, that Marvel took?
That Marvel went on their porch, just like an Amazon porch pirate.
Exactly.
Stole it like a millionaire stealing $1 from a kid. They didn't even need it. So I know they were watching the show. And now I'm seeing all these things that I've literally gone horse. And when I said, I'm like, oh, Billy was a bonehead. He's delusional, all this. Okay. I'm not a fucking rocket scientist by any means. But I'm a geek. And I know my environment. And I know how my environment applies to money. And now they're seeing it. You can listen, I know you're in the chat right now, somebody from DC Vertigo. I know you're here. You don't have to type anything. I know you're watching. You're welcome. You heard me. You're welcome. You can take all the credit. All I want is the end result. This is good news, though, in all seriousness, though. Like I said, when that person and her reasoning for canceling Vertigo, that fucking pissed me off. That pissed me off because I'm like, are you not, where did you come from for you to say that? You can't be serious. You can't be serious. and that whole they don't like imprints thing. I'm like, once again, it's one of those people at the time that one DC fits all shit. All right. And I'm glad that the people who propagated that nonsense are either opening up their minds to other aspects and other realities of this, or they're being chased out of the company or departed. I mean, I'm sorry, the word's departed. Gone. Doesn't matter. This is good news to me. I mean, this is a play. I heard rumblings, but when I started seeing them bring back certain things that were strictly Vertigo and putting them in the Black Label line, because like I said, Black Label, you can show Catwoman's ass or whatever, and Batman's dick, like they did in the damn. You can't do that in the mainline stuff, and you have to put it somewhere. I in good conscience, if you come to me, you take something off the shelf, and I keep it in bags and boards and tape, and you're a kid and you come to me with Black Label, I tell you to put it right back. If your parent wants to come in and buy it for you, they can. You stick to that G-rated shelf, or not G-rated, but the stuff that won't get me shut down shelf. But that's what DC Black Label was. It was for mature stuff. But the way Vertigo is written, yeah, it was for mature, but not to the exclusion of young people. A lot of young people that weren't adults read Vertigo. And the people who were writing Vertigo were going through the same shit as their readers were. Read Preacher. Preacher's like fucking therapy for people. Some of the stuff that some of the people and some of the things that they do to themselves in that comic book are some of the same shit that people in that era were doing to themselves in real life. And they were related to that book. Sandman. There's a lot of abstract stuff about Sandman and a lot of symbolic stuff about Sandman that if you're reading if you're reading between the lines, they're talking about depression. They tackle suicide. They tackle homosexuality as far as being outcasted from your family and leading to suicide. This is all being dealt in a comic book. And I can't say once you uncork that, there's a time where it was never relevant. And when she made that decision, I'm like, you just simplified. Everybody wants to simplify DC. Everybody wants to simplify DC under this small little pretty tent. I'm like, it's not that. DC is a beautiful, sprawling universe that goes in 1,000 different directions, and it's at its best when it does so. You don't need to clean that up. Not everything needs a dustpan and a broom. So I'm happy. I'm happy that we're seeing this on all levels. So Vertigo print is back. I wish I could have found a better thumbnail, but like I said, there's not a lot of appropriate things I could put on there. That some of the Vertigo stuff, covers are going to be like too weird. So I gave you one that had all the basic characters on there. I'm happy it's back. It's just another dimension. I'm happy Ultimate Universe is back. I wish it had never gone away. But like I said, I think the lesson to learn from these guys, not everything needs to be a nice, tidy, made up bed. You know what? Sometimes things need to be messy, and there's beauty in that mess. So William is happy today.
Yes, definitely tell for everything we discussed, especially in the DC sphere. But I think that kind of covers all our topics.
All right, so I'm going to do something that I'm going to regret, and I hope some of you don't take advantage of this opportunity. We're
going to announce a watch party of Gonapath.
You got on YouTube. I don't care. Let's see who's in the track. The only one I want coming in here is Rhea, so I'm going to put the chink in the lap for Rhea. No Aussies today. Sorry.
No, don't you diss my baby sister.
No, Droga's in there. That's what I remember.
Yes.
I'm just kidding, Droga. You can come in. Droga, if you come in, stop putting the thing up against that drives me crazy, dude. It's like a gnat flying in my eye while I'm trying to steer a forklift around. It's like I can't think when you do that shit. No, fourth. I don't want you here and there. All right, there it goes. It's the bullet has left the chamber. I can't pull it back. Hopefully, Rhea comes on.
Yeah, because Rhea again. You mentioned you've been down with family for a couple weeks in SoCal, so I just hope you had a good time there. She had hadn't seen you during that.
And I miss her little chirpy voice.
Oh yeah, we all do. Oh, look what we got instead. This knucklehead here.
Oh well. Why did you go to the dude? Your actual face is more appealing than the bestiality.
The duck,
fucking duck. Knowing that particular scene, by the way, where there was also almost some human duck activity, what would the kids look like? Did you ever ask yourselves that? What about the kids?
No, we all know how he's gonna open up the evening. We all know his intro line is. Just go ahead and get out of the way, man.
What are you talking about, Brad?
That's not your
That
intro
was
line.
hilarious. You sound like Knight Rider. You sound like Kit right there from Knight Rider. Michael, they're gaining on us. Oh, some people still never seen Clint.
Well, it's the first time I'd seen him on camera the other night when he came on.
Oh, I don't care. I know.
You got a lot of hate in the comment. Really?
Don't give a fuck. Because I was going after the little soft and plushy cartoons.
Oh.
I didn't get into YouTube with a thin skin. Sorry, guys.
I hope that Star Trek doesn't leave on another freaking cliffhanger.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
all these shows are.
It didn't even answer last season's cliffhanger with this season.
Well, that cliffhanger is more running throughout the entire series, though. That him and knowing his destiny type thing. So, all right, I am going to go use the restroom. You have the chair.
Oh, wonderful. Go ahead, say it. Yeah.
Say what?
Stop it. Stop with this. Aaron says or Reyes says you come on for the Joker 2 and Terrifier 3 talk. Okay, well, have you seen those yet, Ray? The two, scary clown movies of the Halloween season this year? I've seen them both. William and I see them. We definitely don't think Joker 2 is the worst movie of the year by any stretch, but there's definitely significant issues we found with it.
It's not a Joker movie; it's a mental health movie.
Yeah, well, it becomes a like a Joker movie at the very, 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 very end for anyone who's seen it. But otherwise, Terrifier 3. I mean, it's the ultimate bloodbath. I mean, what else can you say? It's the ultimate. Of course, Hall sees blood, and anybody who hadn't seen a Ruth, oh man, she had an absolute ball with it, as we all were expecting. Certainly very much your thing. I feel the same way, Brad. Terrifier 3 is just awesome. You know what else is awesome? Shadow Strays. I was talking to you guys about earlier. Pull that up on Netflix. That is out of this world. Absolutely, the Shadow Strays. You know what else is awesome? Gonapath. And they won't put that for some reason on streaming or physical media. They just let it leak on YouTube for whatever reason. But they won't put it out like where you can put it on your shelf or your queue. And it's actually this. I think it's tomorrow. It was a year ago when I saw it when it was released theatrically stateside. It was 1 year ago, and I cannot believe that. That's what I'm still wondering. Like, when are they going to put this this amazing Bollywood martial arts flick with my boy Tiger Shroff out for? I can hold it in my hand as a disc, or have it on my Amazon, or have it on Netflix. It's why. I mean, it did bomb. To be clear, it did bomb theatrically, but that's what I don't get. It's like movies bomb all the time. That doesn't mean you don't. That makes it even more kind of incentivizing you to put that out on home media or streaming, because then it's like, okay, let's get some of that money back we didn't get in theaters. So I am at a loss for that. So anybody, if you Google that and say, oh, by the way, Brad, we saw it's on DVD now. There you go. Or it's on streaming now. There you go, Brad.
Maybe Bollywood has different rules about releasing stuff.
Well, yeah. Well, but even that, it's like because I've imported things from Indian action movies before. It's like usually the turnaround is actually like 2 to 3 months from like theaters to home media. So it's just really perplexing. It's just really, really like such a head scratcher. Fourth says Brad, awesome, extremely impressive, daunting, inspiring. Okay, thank you for giving me the Webster's dictionary definition of awesome. Talk Terrifier 3. I haven't got to talk Terrifier 3. Well, I mean, Terrifier 3, Art the Clown butchers a whole lot of people around Christmas. I mean, that's like, it's pretty easy to give a cliff notes to Terrifier 3 or any Terrifier movie. I will say this does, it expands on, the mythos probably more so than any of the others did. And it definitely ends on a cliffhanger. So there will be a Terrifier 4. Make no mistake about that.
I'm just wondering why you're even talking about Terrifier plot.
Well, I mean, that is the plot. Is Art the Clown slaughters people in horrifically graphic, itchy, and scratchy inspired ways. That's Terrifier. That's Art's MO. That's what he does. I did also see. I don't know anybody who hadn't seen me mention earlier when we did the watch parties, I did see the other night. I went and saw Smile 2, which I really dug. That's kind of becoming like a really, as far as like horror movie series, that's actually one I'm really becoming enamored with a lot. I really have enjoyed the Smile movies. This one, I think, this one really ramps up. Naomi Scott's really awesome in it. She's really playing right into Ford's hands there. She gives a great, very, very, very great performance of somebody who's haunted by this, demonic smile entity. So, really, really dug.
Is it rated R?
Yes. Oh, hell yes, it is. In fact, speaking of ratings, I didn't realize apparently Terrifier 3 actually went out unrated. I did not know that. When I went and saw it, I thought, it was rated R. Very hard R. But that is, I was not aware it had been released unrated, because that doesn't, usually the only time you see that is with, like the home release of like, the extended cut or something. They'll just have like an unrated edition. They'll call it like the unrated edition. But that doesn't usually, I can't think of a time in my lifetime where it's like anything's put out unrated. So, oh yeah, Droga William went to the bathroom real quick, so he'll be back in a minute. I meant to talk about Terrifier. Then okay, you're ready. Well, I'm talking Terrifier 3, so there you go. Hey, William's back. Oh, here's Droga.
Hey guys, what's up?
Yeah, we were discussing the plot of Terrifier, which is, very, very, very easy to break down.
Yeah, I mean, that should. Hey, like I said, I had fun with it, watching the whole atmosphere of it, because like I said, going to that movie on that Friday night with that packed cinema, and those people, some of the people were dressed up, some of the people had the shirts on, the Terrifier 2. I'm like, dude, just watching people have fun. And and then like I said, it made the movie better for me. I'm not a big Terrifier fan, but like I said, I know a lot of people are, and dude, they were all there with me last week. So
how's that doing this weekend as far as like the
like 32 million, I think.
it's definitely, and there will 100% be a Terrifier 4.
Oh yeah, if you watch it, you clearly see that they knew they were going to make this money.
Mm-hmm.
So when is Howard the Duck? Wednesday?
Is that your birthday?
Yeah.
We can do it Wednesday. It's gonna be later in the evening, Wednesday, but yeah.
Oh, that's perfect.
We have to
get all the birthday festivities done, and then top it off with the cherry.
And I told Clint a minute ago while you stepped away, it's like, a part of my my ongoing like when the hell is Gone path going to be on streaming or on physical media. It's not today, but it's tomorrow. Is 1 year ago. That's when I saw it, theatrically. When it had its theater run, and it's like, so that's why. When you poke fun at me like this is Gone Snatch, like it hurts, man, because I loved it in the theater. It's my boy Tiger Schroff.
It's just a movie, Brad, and I'm just a Yahoo on the internet.
Well, yeah, but you're pushing the buttons and it hurts, and especially the guy with the duck in his image. It's like it hurts that much more. Oh, it's expanding more theaters. Okay. Oh, that's probably, it might even increase like how well it's been doing.
I wonder when it's released. VOD release date is.
It's. I would imagine they definitely want to have this on VOD and all that by Christmas, because it's Christmas themed.
So Brad, why do you take me so seriously? My God, I'm just some random Yahoo on the internet.
Oh,
I did a Green Lantern drawing.
Yeah, I saw that you put it. I saw you share it. But you can't share it on your cell phone, man. We got to see it for real here. It's like William said. It's like it's distracting if you do it that way.
Okay. Wait, so I can or can't share it?
Yeah, you can't. In fact,
send it to. Brad.
No, I think I pulled it up from your Twitter page.
No, that's all that I can pull it up. Where is it?
This is they're giving like the Terrifier series like acronyms that we used to give for the Terminator franchise. They're pretty good, man.
Yeah.
There's only one T3, and that's Terminator 3. Damn it.
Yeah, I'm not good at drawing super or like I don't know, laser beams or some shit, but I'll improve.
Yeah, it was pretty good, man.
I am definitely on your side, William, about Terminator 3. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. Oh, I see the VHS. Wow, they did do that.
Yeah, they're doing a VHS release of and like Wayne said, it's like who's gonna play it?
That's a big one too. Like double.
Yeah, but yeah, again, it's like who's got? I mean, if you've still got a VCR, I mean, that's somebody who's like waiting for something like this to be released.
Wow, there you go.
And this is even like it's not like it's actual VHS. It's not those one of those like DVDs where it's like it's in the style of like what the VHS cover would have been in the 90s. This is like an actual VHS release of it.
Yeah, Max is getting what? What is Max getting?
Alien Romulus? Or
no, that would be Hulu, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Does it look like VHS? Well, no, VHS quality is like it starts really good and then it degrades over time. That's how VHS.
Oh, dude, I haven't bought a VHS in so long.
Yeah, the last VHS, the last movie that was released on VHS, it was A History of Violence back in 2006. That was the last movie to get like a wide release on VHS. So it's been 18 years since we've had like mainstream VHS home releases.
I know there's still people out there that will buy it up too. They will.
I mean, big. I wish
it's like the vinyl people. There's people out there that are big into vinyl.
There's some people that are collectors enough. They still have Betamax. Oh, and look who dropped in.
What did you stop it?
What? How's it going, Red?
All right, where are you at?
Oh, I'm on my laptop at home.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You look different. You're not no cat ears, no floppy.
Yeah.
No Gilligan hat. I didn't recognize you.
I'm too lazy to boot up my my PC. So, yeah.
Hello, long time no see.
Yeah.
Fourth jumping in.
Yeah.
How are y'all doing? Hey.
Pretty good.
Trying to make it through another week.
Tag team right now.
Did you see Rings of Power yet, Rhea?
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It's your life.
The sound of disappointment, just silence.
she's been globetrotting, man, all over Vegas.
No, I just let other people talk and give them time to chime in.
Yeah, I've been with family in SoCal. So like in San Diego County. And, yeah, my mom was moving into a downstairs unit from her upstairs unit because she has some physical mobility stuff that is the reason why. Yeah, for sure. So that happened, and then I was there for 3 weeks during that process, and my sister was like, "Oh, like every weekend we're like, what are we gonna do? It's like spooky season," and I was like, "Well, yeah, we plan to go to Disneyland." And then afterwards, I was there a couple more weeks, and I was like, "Oh, do you want to go to like SeaWorld?" And she was just like, "What?" And I don't know if y'all have ever gone to SeaWorld, SoCal, but it's kind of a shit show. Like, it's just very just not it doesn't have that spirit of yeah, I'm at a theme park. Let's look at all the exhibits and shop and go on all the rides. I just felt the stress and anxiety and just kind of like a cloud of just exhaustion from all the staff. And
that SeaWorld documentary on CNN kind of blew it. It made SeaWorld seem like whale prison.
Oh yeah, definitely. I saw the dolphin exhibit, and I'm just like, they just don't even look like they're having a good time. And the water was so murky, and we were looking through other exhibits because it was kind of like a zoo, maybe 25% zoo. And yeah, there were crabs and octopuses and stuff, and I'm like, they don't even bother to really clean up the tanks like that. That's how the park is just given up. And it's only $40 to get into, but it does have the most amazing roller coasters I've ever gone on, because I've never gone to Six Flags yet, but they were just so epic. There was one that had a 14-story drop that's just basically a hairpin. You go up and then you just drop, and it's a minute long, but it's amazing. So we also did a bunch of haunted walks. I don't know if y'all are into that or not, but yeah, it was okay. I think a lot of them have gotten more tame over the years because you're not allowed to get too close and touch people and stuff. There's just too much liability. So the immersion, was kind of missing because they can't get up in your face and chase you around too much. So I would have liked that to happen. I don't know if that's the case for other folks in their states, if they're more extreme or not, but it was okay. So yeah, that, and then we went to Universal in Hollywood, and also did like a lot of the same stuff we did at the other parks, like stayed for the spooky, like events, and there was actually like legit like horror and guts and gore. There was like yeah, the Chucky talk show. It was like so like weird. There was like this thing in the amphitheater, and yeah, there was like a legit, Chucky doll with like, a pretty comparable voice actor to, well, I forget the name of the voice actor, Brad something.
Brad Dorf.
Yes,
Brad
yeah, it was
Curran?
close. Brad Kerr. I was like, I know it's a Brad, but yeah, he was asking, or like he was answering the audience's like questions that they submit, and oh, their haunted houses were actually like a little bit more immersive. Like I think my favorite was the Texas Chainsaw one. That one was just like, oh my gosh, they had carcasses. Like obviously, like Chainsaw Massacre, you're gonna see like carcasses and like dead pigs, dead bodies, decapitation everywhere, all the characters, there were different like versions of the characters popping up at every angle, every time you walk through the maze and stuff. So I was really pleased with the experience, and yeah, that's basically where I've been. Yeah, I've tried to catch some content of y'all's like on and off, but yeah, like like on VOD, or like after it's already been posted. So yeah, I missed hanging out with you guys. I love chatting. So like I'm glad I'm back home now. Anyway, the end.
I mean,
I'm
been
not
seeing
worried
your
about where
TikTok,
Rhea's at
so
anymore because when she's gone, she's just out there living life.
yeah, she is. She's living the dream. That's the best way to put it.
Taking pictures too.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
I'm going to Not Scary Farm.
whenever you post content, Rhea, I do check it out. So just so you know, I do check out your content and make sure I leave a like on it because that's what a friend should do, right? So
No, thank you. Y'all have like been super supportive, and like, yeah, just some like personal stuff has like, kind of like been taking me away from content creation. It is super fun. I love doing edited content, especially like shorts and videos. So I am working on, or I need to get working on like some unboxings of stuff that Max and I have like, accumulated over our, travels together. And there was some heavy stuff like a boombox and like encyclopedia of Super Nintendo, games that I couldn't take with me on the plane. So he put it in the mail for me. So once I have that, I hope to do like, a little unboxing stream, and or not stream, shorts are a little bit more easy for me to manage, especially like if it's real-time vlogging and stuff like I did at Comic-Con. That's really fun. So yeah, that's kind of it.
I gotta ask you this, right? You and Max went to tape hunting, right? How is he at tape hunting, right? Behind the scenes, is it mad crazy, or what is it like tape hunting with him?
It's just like very like we're there on a mission to find gold, and I'm really excited because I don't know why, but like everything in Pennsylvania, or like specifically Pittsburgh, I guess, because I've only gone to Philly and Pittsburgh. Didn't explore all of it, but anyway, Pittsburgh is just very like affordable, and it's like very like cozy and hipstery too. So you can like find like really like maybe like moderately uncommon tapes like he finds, and cassette tapes and CDs and vinyl, like, and it's approachably like within range of like $10, like $5, and I'm just like, this is so like, this is amazing. I mean, folks in like the East Coast, they have way bigger spots than a lot of folks over like in the West. So they have like these huge game rooms and like, things like that. So I'm really jealous that folks have just like this disposable space to just create their ultimate, geek dungeon. So that's the only reason why I didn't really get into it too. I kind of have to pick and choose what I can collect. So there's like light comic book and graphic novel collecting, and then like my video game and toy collecting too, that I try to be more selective about. So yeah, to answer your question, that's it's fun, and then it's also just like it's amazing like how it inexpensive and approachable that those hobbies are over there, like in his neck of the woods.
Yeah, I just thought to ask because I know you were in his video, and I was just like, I haven't spoken to you in ages. You know, this is the one opportunity that I wanted to ask. So
yeah, I can't wait to like see more folks like in person. I had a blast like, you know, in Comic-Con, so I'm excited to like possibly meet Brad next year. Like, you know, we're going to like, you know, conquer Comic-Con, especially like now that like I've experienced it, especially like how lines work and how to, you know, be efficient about my time there. I didn't understand exactly what I should be doing as far as like allocating my time effectively. Like Phil and William had like a better idea because they were there for work. But for me, as just like, you know, an attendee who was like on and off, you know, supporting folks with like filming and things like that, I was just like, what do I do? Do I just wander around, you know, the convention floor? But that wasn't really like, in retrospect, an effective use of my time. So I'm hoping to do more of like, you know, the panels and actually, you know, get some like substantial, like, you know, experiences there, like just being like, you know, in the midst of like, you know, when major announcements come out and stuff like that. So that's my goal for next year.
My goal is to get in the Hall H, but not have to do what we did.
you mean sit down and stand up?
Yeah.
Oh, right, because of the media passes and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. That's
Well,
my goal. Is,
well,
yeah, glad we did it, but that was 2 days. If you're one place, you can't be in another.
Well, and like with the video you showed, like when the line, like once the line starts moving, it's moving pretty fast. But then of course you got to plant your flag for like 2 days in advance of that.
We saw like abandoned camps and stuff. It was just like, you know, like just like folks who are just what is the word, nomads, like literally.
Yeah, they bought these chairs, you know, those folding chairs, you know, and their umbrellas. As soon as the line started moving, they left that shit there. That's funny. It's like, but nobody had any use for it at that point. You bought it just to get through that moment.
Well,
but I missed out on Alien Romulus. I mean, they had an Alien Romulus panel and they gave away face huggers and nobody would sell me theirs. And they were all walking past me with these face huggers, and I'm like, well, I couldn't be. We couldn't be everywhere. It was just, you know.
I just find it, and one thing I find, again, this is like, you know, the interesting thing because you didn't see this done in past years at Comic-Con. Again, hopefully I'll be you know trying to get the chance to experience that next year. Is because you had Deadpool and Wolverine released the weekend of San Diego Comic-Con, and that's going to repeat
the day of.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's going to repeat this coming year with Fantastic Four. So I mean, they usually
no. Yeah, Fantastic Four I think is because Fantastic Four is like the 20. Is it 25th?
Let me look that up. It's like the 20. Yeah, it's like a year.
Or maybe right. So it's Comic-Con 25.
So effective use of your time, Rhea, was sabotaging William's bed.
I wasn't sleeping in William's bed, first of all.
Whoa!
Do you have pictures of the crime scene?
No, like I wasn't sure how to respond to Clint's question, so I was like, okay, it's a trap either way. So
yeah, well, Spidey gets me with those all the time. So.
Do you have any pictures, Rhea, that you took of the William bed crime scene?
I literally didn't even go in there.
The destruction of property.
I was staying with vendors who I was able to get help, you know, getting into the convention with. So we were sharing a hotel, 2 other women and I. So that's where I was at. I think I was live streaming from the bathroom one of those nights. And then, I had toilet tissue in the behind.
Oh, you guys, William, you guys looked wiped out when we streamed. I mean,
that was on Saturday. Yeah, that was on that Saturday when we did that stream, and I was like, so yeah, I think when is Comic-Con?
Nobody was more wiped out than William's bed, though. Can we agree on that?
Thank you for it. Yeah, it's Fantastic Four. That is going to be the 25th next year, and let me look up Comic-Con.
It might be the same week.
I'm hoping that like
it's the 24th. 24th next year.
But we might get something DC though, because remember Superman comes out on the 15th of July.
So the 11th, yeah.
11th. So if you think about it, DC wise, they might do like a big showcase for Superman.
Well, they need to have a panel this year. They need to have a panel on that because nothing will be filmed. Everything that you can have the stuff that's in pre-production, but Fantastic Four showed you they got to have somebody here. Even if they're getting on the plane to go start production, they got to have somebody there. If they get any momentum from Superman, they got to continue that momentum throughout all these major outlets.
Well, but Ray, you had something you were gonna say a second ago?
Yeah, so like that said, I wonder if like because we're getting the Batman 2 in 2025, right? Or 2026. I forget.
2026.
26.
Yeah.
26.
So like Brave and the Bold though, was that supposed to be 2025 or 2026?
That's not
They
even
haven't.
dated, I don't think.
Yeah,
Yet.
they haven't given a date yet on that one. But you still have these things going into they should be casted by then. And if they're casted, I need the people who are in the cast to be on that damn stage, man. And, you know, that's you know, even if he, like I said, Fantastic Four, they made something to bring to Comic-Con. And they hadn't even started shooting yet. So DC, at that point next year, you know, I'll give them a pass this year, even though I thought they should have been there. But next year, they'll be in, you know, you'll have one movie out in the wind by that time. You will have 2 weeks away, 2 weeks past your first movie. Creature Commandos will be out. You should have these other subsequent process. The Lanterns should be in pre-production, if not in production by then. I need to see those guys on stage. I mean, they need to, you know, to keep the momentum going if they have momentum going at that point. So that should be a very important convention for them, along with everything else I think they should be doing. Before we get to Comic-Con, I need them getting the hype machine going. I need them all to be Scott Snyder at this point.
So, William, would you say that your time at Comic-Con, was it top bunk entertaining or bottom bunk entertaining?
It was third bunk up, so just imagine that.
Okay.
Oh man, you like pile drived the bottom two folks.
I told the dude, "Hey man, I think I'm 250 coming through. You might want to move a little bit faster." Yeah, once I showed the hotel owners that I'm like, you realize this could have ended up with me suing the shit out of you guys, but you know,
And the
like
murder.
all of a sudden, I got a nice room, I got a meal, I got alcohol that I don't drink, but it was there. I got, you know, like I said, the bed was a massage thing on there, and a heated thing, one of those. I got cable, I got all the movie channels I wanted to do if I wanted to. You know, I didn't have to pay for any of that stuff. So, and they gave me a meal. They gave me a little meal ticket that I ended up using. So I was all right. They took care of me, but like I said, it was just that I was so fucking tired that Saturday morning. I mean,
Would you go to any other Comic Cons or just San Diego? Would you go to any other Comic Cons or just the San Diego one?
It would all depend on time. Like I said, they would all be on the West Coast. So I would go. Like I'm going to go to the one here when they bring up Amazing Comic-Con. I'll be here for that because those guys actually they put a lot of money into it, and that's they bring out guys. That's where I met Stan Lee, Rob Liefeld, Kevin Eastman. They all come out here for that one. So if I ever get to time to go to a New York Comic-Con, I might, but I don't know when that'll ever be.
What about? Oh,
are pretty
I was
good.
just about to ask. Yeah.
WonderCon?
Yeah, I saw like 20 minutes of Wonder Woman before it came out there. So they're pretty legit. And Patty, whatever her name there.
Yeah. A lot of it's going to depend on what you know schedule and all that. But I do want to start going to more shows because I think that it's good for the soul to go to these events and be around people. Like I said, be around your people. Whatever you're into, go someplace where you can be surrounded by your people. It's cathartic, you know. If it's wrestling, you know, go to a wrestling event. If it's comics, go to Comic-Con.
Yeah, Comic-Con, like an in-person con, like put it this way, you can like have a group of people like in the circle talk about James Gunn's stuff and restore the Snyderverse in the same conversation without anybody wanting to kill each other.
Well, yeah, because we're not hiding behind a keyboard. So yeah. Star Trek was the same way. The week after I got back from San Diego, I met William Shatner here for a Star Trek convention. So yeah, I mean, I went to more types of outings like that in the last maybe 24 months than I had in quite a while. I'd stayed away from Comic-Con for a while simply because it was just.
By the way,
you know, I went post-pandemic.
I know this. Well, we're going to keep talking. I'm going to see if I can pull this up. But I mean, this kind of came a little bit out of our Jim Carrey talk recently. But somebody did this really clever cosplay, something that you didn't like. Jim Carrey was in.
I saw that. It's
we got to pull it up.
Go ahead, Rhea. My Brad's pulling up nonsense.
Yeah, speaking of like panels and like, you know, reveals and stuff, in your in everyone's opinion, or if you have an opinion, do you think that if Joker 2 had a panel at Comic-Con or some sort of like, you know, organic marketing event where the actors did a panel, do you think that would have improved its performance or, you know, buzz and stuff?
No,
That's a good
It's
question.
not really that type of movie to be at a Comic-Con, though.
I just think
don't know.
that.
I mean, Penguin was there, so that's why I'm just like, well, yeah.
Well, here's the thing: Penguin kept consistent with what the Batman gave you. It went where Reeves went, and they went with that was the logical progression. The problem I have with Joker, and I think people are overdoing it as far as their anger. I think people are just doing it because they're professional shitheads for the most part. But the problem I have, the legitimate problem I had with Joker, was it didn't follow the natural progression of the story that he put out by his rules, and it crossed over from territory that we had already spent the first movie, and then there's no, like I said, it gave you a sense that this is all something, this is some all big mistake or something like that, and I'm like, dude, that was 5 dead people ago, and the mind just doesn't work that way. The deterioration wasn't consistent with what Joker gave us, and I think that really hurt the movie. No other element, in my opinion, not the music, not even the performances were top notch, the cinematography, the technical aspects were top notch. It was the story was he set expectations and a direction and didn't follow that direction to its logical conclusion.
Well, not
For me,
only that, go ahead, Forth.
well, that's it. For me, it was a musical. I was out.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but also the movie itself. Also, like kind of to what William was saying, there's definitely a subtext where the movie itself is really kind of undercutting its own. I've likened it to the Matrix Resurrections, or it's kind of in a way almost scolding its own audience, or it's kind of questioning its own need to be made, and it's questioning. It's undercutting a lot of like Arthur's philosophy, where the fact that he completely, by the end, he says, "Nope, I'm not the Joker. I never, bought into the whole you get what you deserve" philosophy. It's it plays in what William says. Like the movie itself, it just completely diverges from the character progression that was started in the first one in a way that is just so contradictory from you, and not contradictory from just a audience preference point, but like, no, this is not where he would go.
I guess. Sorry.
No, go for it. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think what was a little unexpected for me was the relationship dynamic between Lee and Arthur, or she's in love with Joker, not Arthur. So she kind of is the catalyst for Arthur kind of having this sulking moment of losing his iconic status outside of prison to now just being treated like a novelty and a throwaway, or like the rest of the prisoners. And I think with Lee just kind of being, like I said, this catalyst to reignite Arthur's willingness to really become unhinged again, and kind of become more willing to I guess celebrate the impact, or not the celebrate, but more just embrace it and own it a little bit more, without expressing that much remorse, is because he's finally being acknowledged in the way that he is, he has started to, but in a different way, where it's this feel, this is that sensation of finally this, I belong with someone, I feel accepted for the first time. And it's of course a facade, he may not he has, we know that he has this inability, or he is an unreliable narrator, and a lot of his delusions sort of transcend into his reality too. So he truly probably felt that all of those sequences, I don't really consider this a musical, I just know that there are segments where music and different scenes that are delusions for Arthur, similar to the first movie, occur, and they just happen to have music playing. But anyway, my point is that yes, a sense of belonging, that sort of forlorn love that wasn't fulfilled by his neighbor, which I actually didn't expect to see her in court, but yeah, that connection, I guess, that he's never felt before. I think that really was it was pretty profound, especially for me, when I realized, I didn't even realize until towards the end, that Lee was not in love with Arthur. She was more in love with the Joker. But it seems so clear now, looking back at all the events, because her her actions were completely mirrored of what we've seen Joker do. and she keeps addressing Arthur as Joker. And so all these like breadcrumbs, I'm like, no shit, like, you know, she's only in love with Joker. But then I was just like, Arthur realizing that, you know, Joker and Arthur are, you know, two different beings. Cracks in his consciousness, or yet, I guess, or splits. It's something that, you know, his lawyer was trying to, you know, like convey to him, like, no, this is really what's happening with you. But I guess he wasn't in a place to, you know, really wrap his head around that until towards the end, when he came to that conclusion of, after the huge explosion in the court, and then encountering all these, like, you know, overzealous, you know, like sycophants, you know, on the street too, and just all the I'm sure it was like kind of like a sensory overload at the time for him. So not even really like expecting to, you know, have that happen, because it's such a contrast to him like accepting, you know, his idolization in the last movie. So I guess
Yeah.
like my point is that it's a 180, but I can I appreciate that, because I want like a repeat of, you know, the first movie. So
Well, no, I wanted an escalation. I think once he blew Murray's head off, there was no conscience. There was no going back. There was no Arthur Fleck died the same time Murray's brain matter hit the back of that stage. So there was no aspect of him to reach at that point or to care about that. He would have probably sooner killed her than go back to being Arthur Fleck. Arthur Fleck is dead. And that's the thing, is they didn't move on. They didn't progress. We spent time in that courtroom and in Arkham Asylum, places that we didn't need to be. We needed to be out in the streets with him. It needed to be escalating. Whenever you see anybody like that, real life or whatever, whenever they cross, there's a threshold they cross that there's no going back. And he had done that 5 times, Murray being the climactic one. He closed the door on any of that. So for us to revisit any of that part of his conscience, to me, was treading over ground that we had already spent the first movie doing. What needed to be, in my opinion, it needed to be happening in Joker 2 was escalation. And those sycophants around him needed to be helping, feeding into that. And he needed to be getting worse, not better. And wherever it ends at that point, but him being, oh, I'm just not Joker, and I'm Arthur. No. Like I said, once he shoots, he reaches the point where he can shoot Murray point blank. He has killed the Joker. He has put the Joker somewhere in his head that's never coming back. And it was not consistent with not with my opinion of what Joker 2 should have been, but the groundwork that Phillips had set up for it. It's like he established the rules of what the Joker was in his storytelling, and he abided by none of those rules in the second one, and I think it really injured the movie. But
yeah, I partially agree with that, William. That yeah, there should have been an escalation, but I'm not against the idea that he rejects the Joker identity. And this is coming from a person who hasn't watched it, but just went through like the plot line, you know.
Bless you.
But they should have at least tested what that choice meant. Kind of like to use the Matrix as an example, right? You make the choice to be the one, right? Like he makes the choice to be the Joker. All right, but part 2 is about what does that mean in an escalation of events that test his the character. And I would like to see more of that, than just a recap of what happened in the first movie in a court case.
By the way,
yeah, for me, the test was over. The test was over when Robert De Niro's head exploded.
Before we go any further with the Joker talk, which I definitely have thoughts to share on this, but yeah, I need to go ahead because I've been kind of trying to hide the snickering I've been doing on this. Yeah. This is the cosplay I alluded to that was the most creative one of New York Comic Con that's kind of gone viral.
As the movie.
The problem
it's relevant because we've been talking about Jim Carrey so much.
Oh, I saw this on Twitter.
Yikes.
The problem with Joker is they made a comic book character in the really real world. This is what would happen to him, not comic book.
And listen, I'm sorry interrupting, Clint, but just for this here, like, because William was like using the analogy is like, Jim Carrey's got so much range, and he's like he's boiled his buffoonery movies or involve him like coming out of a rhino's ass.
This is kind of sad, though. This is sad that's That's the symbol
Well,
of
and
what
listen,
Jim Carrey is.
well, not only that, but listen, it's like because I love Ace Ventura, but even I like have to ask. It's like, okay, in that movie, where did Ace Ventura get a fully sized mechanical rhinoceros?
Dude, you're asking questions about one of the fucking dumbest movies ever. That really you got to the point where we're asking that question. That's like, I mean, that's the only question you have about this shitfest of a movie is where did he get a mechanical
That's from Ace
rhino?
Ventura. I thought that was from Eternal
It's from-
Sunshine of the Spot.
It's from the
Get this off the screen. Get this off the
Okay.
screen.
Okay, sorry. I
didn't want to see it. And, okay, Clint, you were saying something relevant. What?
Yeah. The Joker movie it failed because it was what would happen to Arthur Fleck in the real world, not the fantasy world of comic books and everything. People were looking for, the Joker's going to escape asylum and go into the underworld and become this mobster.
That was what I was looking for. Yeah, you're right.
But what they got was a really depressing real world examination of someone going insane and then coming out of insanity.
But here's the thing that's not real world about it, and this is where I kind of diverge. Is if you look at these cases, the way mass killers go, and the way people who kill people in great number or any number, multiple killers go, they do not go back. There is no conscience to go back to. They have already crossed that bridge and they burnt it while they were crossing it. Joker doesn't give a fuck about Arthur. Arthur is dead. He doesn't care about collateral damage anymore. It's all about him. And he even said that. So you wouldn't, even a real world, even if we went to real world depression, real world mass killing, Ted Bundy never thought, you know what? Wow, maybe I'll just be Ted today. No, Ted Bundy kept killing because he had crossed that threshold. People who kill multiple times cross the threshold. They're no longer humans. They're just things now. And so he would not have come back to all that. He would have escaped. If he would have escaped, I wanted to see him interacting with law enforcement, not in the courtroom, but out there trying to catch him. Things like that. I thought there could have been a lot of dialogue, a lot of things, but
I loved the sequences in the prison. Like he's kind of like not rallying the troops, but he's this source of inspiration and in such a desolate, dehumanizing space. And I think one of my favorite sequences too was when he starts, this acapella, when the saints go marching in.
Yeah.
It's just stepping all the tables and everyone just like, yeah, when the saints go marching. And I'm just
that should have been the prison break. That should have been the prison break. And he takes those people out into Gotham and he goes fucking crazy. He's killing people.
But I appreciate that they spent so much time in the prison because I'm very biased, but my perception of, of that topic. So yeah, I don't know. It was just really kind of taking back your humanity a little bit, taking back, your, I guess agency, because Arthur, up until that point in the prison, you can kind of tell he was just, so sulken and, just used to being
drugged. He was drugged up too. Remember, he was drugged up.
As a novelty, the guards, would make fun of him and him and his tall, skinny friend, who, so yeah, I don't know. I just really liked the character interactions and Arthur's journey, I guess, throughout the film. So I understand, the criticisms from y'all, but I was a real, really sitting there with my sister watching it, thinking this is amazing. I love just seeing this, roller coaster of psychosis play out. And it's so different from the original film, but so satisfying to watch too. So yeah,
I gotta say, I have to agree with what Clint was saying. Too many people were looking for this movie to turn into a Joker movie, and they never promised
a Joker
you that.
movie.
Even
it's a Joker movie.
No, but they outwardly told you this is not the Joker.
Okay, but even if whatever name you put on it, where he starts at in Joker, where he finishes at in Joker, there's no going back.
Yeah,
these conversations and
you're kind of putting him in a box though, based on some people that you know who were killers.
Yeah, just based on the consistency of his own development and what Todd Phillips did. Like I said, I'm not giving you my rules. I'm giving you Todd Phillips.
I'm with William on this.
You got to remember the MO for the Joker though. He only killed people that were mean to him.
Well, yeah,
everybody in that movie was mean to him. They should have all been dead.
Not only that, but also because I'm with William on this, on that aspect of comparing this to the first one. Is it's not just a matter of he's killing people who are mean to him. It's it's the idea that this is a guy who his life has just completely fallen apart, just one piece at a time throughout the entirety of the first movie. And, with each kill that he does, he has that, that dance in the bathroom after he kills those guys in the subway in the first one. And, what the progression that you see with him as he goes from Arthur to Joker is like, he's losing more once he gets his first taste of blood. Like he's losing more and more of what's tethering him to, to the rules of society or to the rules of humanity as he sees it at the start of the movie, where he thinks it's like, I brought into this world to bring laughter and joy to people, and that just chips away and more, and it all culminates, when he shoots Murray Franklin on live TV. And he's initially going on there. He's planning at first to kill himself on live TV, and then it switches in his head, and it's like, no, I'm going to take out this guy instead. And that is the point. I agree with William. That is the point for him. That should be the point of no return, where it's like Arthur Fleck is dead at this point. Joker has taken over.
We're done with
you're playing by comic book rules, though. Remember, they made the point that he's a false idol to all these people, and that he has no interest in their claims. He's doing it for fame, and he only targeted people that were a-holes in society.
That was but he progressed beyond that, though. That was the whole of the original movie.
His progression was done.
No, his
progression was done.
Well, guys, Ray has something to say too, so let's hear her.
Yeah, so there are moments where this ascension into being idolized for Arthur is shattered. There's the initial prison sequences, and then once he is sort of remotivated or invigorated by Lee and the promise of some sort of meaningful first connection he's ever had in real time, not just like a delusion with his neighbor. I think that increases his willingness to fully embrace the act of or going back to that place where he was when he murdered Murray on live TV. And I think what I don't hear a lot of feedback on are the the other characters in the film, like Harvey Dent and Gary. I think the sequence with Gary on in the court really probably I think I put some significance on that, kind of starting a bit more of a split in or I guess resplitting Arthur and Arthur's mind into okay, yeah,
the midget, the little guy,
Gary.
Yeah,
he has a name. Gary, yes. He took the stand and just was like, Arthur, and Joker was because Arthur was Joker in that time, I didn't kill you, Gary. I was always nice to you. You were always great. And Gary's just like, Arthur, my life is destroyed. I don't think you realize I can't even work. I can't do anything. Do you realize what you've done to me? And he's just sobbing. And I was just like, oh, Gary. So I may need to rewatch the film, but I think that was one sort of stepping stone into, that crack, or reigniting that, perception of Arthur and the Joker kind of being separate. Because Arthur was just under the impression of he is the Joker, but I think that's where a split started to occur. And he even admitted to the murder of his mom. Everyone was oh, he's on trial for 5 murders, and he kind of goes down the list of oh, by the way, I also killed my mother. So I think that is that's evidence in my mind of okay, yeah, he's starting to realize the consequences of his actions. And although he is not become a better person or redeemed in any way, it's that oh, and then Lee totally dumping him that. Those were all really hard.
He had killed her. The Joker, the Joker that Todd Phillips created and Joker 1 would have killed her or done something with.
Yeah, I agree.
Gary is talking to somebody who doesn't exist anymore. He no longer has the capacity to hear Gary, period. He no longer has that. See, what he sees, and this part of his psychosis that Todd Phillips started there, as the closer he becomes to this thing, the less capacity he has to ever reach back and gain that. That guy's gone. That guy dies with each person that Arthur Fleck kills. And that last one that he kills, that was it. Not only is that door closed, that house is burned down. He doesn't believe at the natural progression it should be a person who questions the reality that whether Arthur Fleck was real, not the other way around. Because you're not de-escalating after you've killed 5 people.
You're applying Batman rules.
Real
You're still applying Batman rules to it. So like the one bad day thing that doesn't apply to this. He's still a real person.
you show me a
didn't
mass murderer that they've ever caught that stopped.
Why didn't he kill Gary when he killed the other coworker in the first movie?
Because at that point he wasn't there. The Gary that he sees in that courtroom, by the way, too much of this was in the courtroom in an Arkham, but the Gary he sees in the courtroom, when they meet at that point, that's a whole new different person.
No. But
by the way,
you're saying that transitioned over when Robert De Niro's brains hit the floor, but he killed somebody earlier in the movie and let Gary go. He's not the Joker that you're trying to trap him.
The killing of Murray was the bridge. Anything before that was a building block to get on that bridge. He crossed that bridge. So anybody he killed in any manner that he killed before was part of the escalation.
Well, and the guys on the subway, he was defending himself at that point too. So it's like,
why wouldn't that be the crossing there?
What's up?
Why wouldn't that be the crossing of the bridge?
Because he could reason that he was defending himself.
Yeah.
It wasn't an elective thing. He was getting the hell beat out of him, and then he went after him that way. With Murray, it was a calculated killing. Once he kills Murray, that's it. So you're talking at different points in the movie. Now, once we reach the next step, you just go with if you want to have this grounded like he did and be consistent like he did, whether you're talking about Joker or not, you show me somebody who kills in that manner that they don't stop themselves. They get stopped. And it's usually part of that escalation. And like I said, he set those rules in Joker 1. All that courtroom stuff like that, the best thing about that to reflect where he was would have been to get him out in the city, and that's where the mayhem causes. Now, if you were going to reach the self-reflection and all that stuff, it needed to be at the end of the movie after he's causing. But I don't even think you get that. There's only one way out for him. He's already killed Arthur Fleck. There's nothing left to lose. These people are just numbers to him. And that's why you always hear when somebody does this type of killing, when they interview them, each time that they do it, the consequences of conscience become less and less to the point where they no longer can hear that voice in their head anymore. It's just a video game to them at that point. And that's where he is.
And also, thank you for telling me his first name. I always thought his name was Mr. Puddles.
Oh, Gary. Yeah.
So I got a question for Rhea, right? Now, as you know, right, Brad is into Ganapath, right? Have you seen it?
Into what?
Oh, really? It's called Ganapath.
Yeah, that's a proper response.
It's an Indian. It's an Indian martial arts movie that literally came out a year ago. It's like for whatever reason, it's like it's just now it has not been released either on streaming or home media, and it's like I have no clue why it's leaked on YouTube, but it's like as far as like a proper like home media release, it's like it hasn't happened yet. And I keep bringing that up on the show because like if anybody like goes on Google and says, "Oh, Brad, it's actually here. It is. It's like it's on eBay or it's on Amazon. Please let me know because I really dug it."
And we're trying to spread the awareness.
I'll spread the awareness. Okay, thank you, man.
No, I think we just watched it differently then. I feel like it kind of set the rules of what this Joker was. That made him different than the actual Joker. And he had his kind of rule set about who he went after. And then they went out of the way to tell you that the real Joker is out there. Or
but
a real Joker.
By the time he kills Murray, everybody has wronged him. He escalates from each person that has wronged him and being able to keep those names in a catalog or a Rolodex type of situation to the point where it gets to the point where by the time he shoots Murray, he perceives as everybody is wronging him. He no longer has the capacity to distinguish the individuals. Now he sees himself as everybody's against me. He no longer has the capacity to do that anymore. So he's not targeting, he's not a serial killer or a mass murderer where he's targeting those people. He has a perception of himself now as somebody who has been wronged by society. So now it's not just individuals that have to pay. Society either has to pay or they have to see things his way. Those are the rules that Todd Phillips had set with each kill going forward. This movie really didn't need to go over a lot of that stuff. He didn't need to be in Arkham for that long. The only time you need to be in Arkham was to kill those shitty guards and to escape. That's where Arkham is. Arkham took way too much of that movie. And the court case, what? No, I didn't need any of that. You could have had Harvey Dent in there throughout, with Commissioner Gordon or somebody, Lieutenant Gordon, whatever you wanted to have, and not be the yin and the yang going back and forth and the escalation outside of Arkham. The environment and the setting, really, in my opinion, the quality of the movie is not what people are shitting on it. And that's it. But my point is the narrative roller coaster that it just didn't need to go on. And a lot of these things, just like I said, took away from where the character was going. Not where I thought the character should be, where Todd Phillips set us on. If Todd Phillips would have set us on a different direction, then that's what I would have expected, and then the movie would have met those. But those weren't it. You did the story, you did the sequel in his own words because you had the story to tell. So you just told basically two different stories that weren't consistent with each other. They had the same people, or they had the same guy for the most part, and he did admirably. I love his performance as far as what it is. Lady Gaga does great. Technically, sound, editing, wardrobe, makeup, things like that, or cinematography. Those are, for people to say it's a bad movie, really, it just went in a direction I didn't think it was consistent with it. And that's all I really ask. If you were going to continue a story, to continue to tell your story. You can do as many sequels as you want to, as long as you are consistently telling your story. That didn't happen here, in my opinion.
And another thing, the ending of Joker kind of leads you to believe that that's what's going to happen, because he killed whatever at the very end and was running away from the guards.
Yeah, and he's cutting a smile into his face. Which that part didn't even, that part was, it was just like, say, how we got there. It was like, just wasn't, it disjointed the whole movie to me.
Well, where we got to also, I mean, the last scene is obviously this indicating that this is a prequel to The Dark Knight.
Well, that makes no sense because you guys just mentioned Harvey Dent is in it.
He's
I'm kidding.
Axel, he's pulling your leg.
Yeah.
No, there have been people. I've seen that theory float around because he's the one prisoner's cutting the Glasgow grin in his cheeks. It's like, oh, this is the Joker that we've actually seen in The Dark Knight.
Yeah, and I actually made like a tweet.
So little as a fan theory. Then you
I made like a tweet 2 years ago. So like when that actor was announced to be in the Joker movie, I said, it kind of looks like a good Joker. This was like 2 years ago. And then I'm like, oh shit, he actually is playing. It turns out it is the Joker or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he made decisions with the movie I didn't agree with, and I think hurt the movie.
So
I think people are overgoing. I think people are overblowing it though, and I think there's just professional shitheads out there whose job it is now and is to shit on movies, whether they see them or not. And those people are separate from the people who actually had legitimate, this just didn't work for me. I'm disappointed type of feelings, which is where I fall in.
Yeah, which is still almost unanimous.
Different levels of it, though. All right.
Clown movie.
Huh?
What about the real clown movie?
Terrifier
3?
Yeah,
Terrifier 3. Yeah, I wanted to hop on and.
Have you seen that, Rhea?
Yeah, I've seen Terrifier 3 in theaters.
Oh, so
what did you think of it?
What's your thoughts?
I really enjoyed the movie. I think Ruth, you mentioned in the chat before that you prefer Terrifier 2, and I think like as far as like iconic status, 2 definitely transcends above.
2 is better. I thought 2 was better too.
Although it is longer, and sometimes I felt like, oh my gosh, like does it really have to drag on like this? But 3, I think it didn't overstate its welcome. Although like there are certain scenes that I wish kind of got a little bit more focus, especially like I feel like it was like edited down, honestly, because the sequences with the family, especially the brother, just felt like like such a significant character in the previous film, it seemed very unceremonious, especially because we didn't even get to see his death on screen too. So that was a big criticism in my mind. And I guess The movies seem to be super like self-referential, especially with the celebrity cameos. I'm just like, I don't want you to be a parody of yourself. I want you to, continue to, establish this lore as art is more than just like a pop culture, like phenomenon. There is a story there and arc that, I want to see. Although he is just sort of like an enigma in and of himself. Like I would like to continue to be like legitimately terrified, like by, his presence. And I didn't necessarily get that as much. I felt there was like some good humor, and there were like definitely great scenes with Sienna as well. She was like, she's one of my favorite final girls now. And she killed that, performance for sure. So she was the star of the movie, unfortunately. Like I would have thought it would be art, but I'm happy that I connect more with Sienna, and I'm excited to see more of her in the series.
Yeah, which you definitely will with how it ends.
I think I like the Art the Clown in 3 the best, only because there's a slight difference. Some people say that he was too funny or comedic, but I don't know. This whole movie feels like a different type of vehicle compared to the first two. The first two are very much like schlocky kind of, grindy, like grindhouse type movies. But this one was actually, parading itself off as like a film for the most part, like an unfolding movie traditionally.
Yeah.
I think for Art to be the funniest one or the funniest in this movie, I think definitely will grab the wider audience that it presents itself to. Going forward as something more illustrious to come.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a part where he's eavesdropping on the conversation with the two kids, like I want to look Art's eyes. I want to like see if he smells as bad as they tell him to, and he's eavesdropping, going like that. So
I think you want to fuck him. No, I don't want to fuck him. And he's like, damn. Like I don't know. I was there for all of it. And when you were saying about the deleted scenes, yes, they don't show when the brother dies, and they don't show when she goes back to the Terrifier to go get the sword, which seems like an important type of
yeah. So I wasn't the only one who noticed that.
Well, the sword was in the gift box behind the tree.
Yeah.
No, she had to go back to the Terrifier to get it. She left it.
Yeah,
there.
remember she said, "Did you get it?"
Oh,
yeah. I'm like, okay, I thought I would lost my mind there because I had a mishap with my Mountain Dew, and I might have been distracted for a certain game. So, but no, I did.
And Root's got some thoughts in the chats. No, well, he never did, but he doesn't hold back for sure. He doesn't start it here. They're making 2 more. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, definitely one is more is on the cards, but 2 more. Okay, they definitely they definitely got a business model for it. That is for damn sure.
I like how
that's the rice.
The little Sienna has to retrieve the sword with like injured fingers from a box again, just like the second one, where she had to dig in the cereal box and go through the pain test.
Yeah.
And this one, her hands are all beat to shit to retrieve the sword from the present box.
I kind of dug in this too.
Hey, listen, damn it! Art the Clown was not on my thumbnail.
Well, Ray wanted to come on and talk about him.
Neither was Joker and Joker 2. So
William, William, with me alone, are you not used to stuff that's not on the thumbnail coming up?
Fucking Art the Clown, man.
I thought this was an open channel, William.
Yeah.
Open everything but the raid, Art the Clown. I don't care. Listen, I went and saw the movie, so something if you'd have told me a year ago I would pay to go see a Terrifier movie, I'm like, what the fuck?
This should be your dream career.
I think we'll all be brought in the next Terrifier movie about the sword. Yeah, probably. Well, because also
they're saying that the brother's alive. I don't. Where is he?
Well, there is a kid who is definitely alive with the cliffhanger they leave off on. And one thing I did kind of enjoy about it was that they definitely Art's his origin or like who and what exactly he is definitely a lot more ambiguous in the first 2, and this one they really play on. They really drive home the idea of his. I mean, it was already clear he's supernatural, but they really drive home the demonic side of it, and of course they contrast it with Sienna, who is, I mean, she's literally presented as a Jesus figure. I mean, and they really emphasize that part of it towards the end of it. So, well, you can't miss it.
All my predictions were completely wrong for the backstory of Art the Clown, but I have
predictions to this?
Oh yeah, Oh, this ain't Blue Blood and Honey, William. This ain't Manhunter. This
Yeah,
is
exactly.
this is
Don't
real war.
do not put Art the Clown in the same sentence as Manhunter. I'm sorry. We can end the show.
I'm hoping that at the Halloween store, I'm hoping that that's a foreshadowing when the camera moves back and you see the other clowns tugging on the statue of the girl, the little girl. There's like statues of clowns tugging on a girl statue. I'm hoping that was foreshadowing her sister or her cousin in hell.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Ruth, he's definitely becoming like this generation's like iconic slasher movie villain. I think he's definitely achieved that. I think.
I disagree. No, Kosa nerds or Art's right there at his roots.
Oh, they do. Fourth, and they do a fifth. Bring Art back to his roots. And well, and that's why because I saw the second one. The second one was the first one I saw, and then I saw the first one when they did the re-release last summer, and the second, it's every bit as gruesome the first one as the second one is, but it's because I think they found kind of a nice medium as far as runtime with this one, because the second one is like I sort of liken seeing the second one to being strapped to a chair and like being right in front of the elevator in The Shining when the blood comes out. That's what it feels like watching Terrifier 2. And the fact it's with the whole kind of B movie template of the series, the first one being about 85 minutes, they keep it nice and compact that way, but it's and that gives it a real kind of grindhouse sort of quality to it. And the fact that it's very much kind of a single location setting, with these characters basically hiding out in the kind of this this one sort of a vacant office building on Halloween night from Terry, which is why I do lean a little bit more towards the first one compared to the two. And then with this one, again, because I feel like it found a good middle ground between those two, as far as runtime, and then also kind of extrapolating on the mythos of Art and the origins of Art, and also on Sienna's. I feel like, if I were to rank the series, I probably would. And I don't dislike any of them, but they are a lot to take in, even for somebody who's not squeamish like me. But if I were to rank them right now, I probably like going from like weakest to strongest. I probably would say 2, 3. Well, I don't know, 3 or 1. I could go back and forth on as far as right now. It's like, I might need to see 3 again. Need to kind of like really get a beat on that. Well, I probably will see it again, just if nothing else, just to see the audience response, or like as you get closer to Halloween. Because even if you don't like that's the nice thing about this franchise. Even if you're not a fan of it, seeing these movies theatrically with a packed house, which mine was very packed, it's well worth it. Just be there part of the audience atmosphere, and they're just absolutely into it. When Art just like shoves a chainsaw up a dude's ass and makes a blood angel afterward. People were, they knew what they wanted, they knew what they were getting, and they absolutely relished every minute of it.
A lot of sick people packed into one place. Man.
I can't pick my favorite kill because a lot of them are consistently good. I'll just say the weakest one for me was the one that involved rats.
Oh God, no, that one was revolting as hell. Well, and
that one was really like, to me, that epitomizes the whole franchise.
Well, and I just
unnecessary.
So I was talking to William about after we both seen it, because the first two they each have a scene that kind of like really seared itself in everyone's memory as far as like a kill. Like the first one has the girl being sliced in half, crotch first, and then the second one has the bedroom butchering scene. And then I told him, okay, I think I know what the equivalent for this one is going to be. And I thought he was going to think it was going to be the locker room, with the showers, which was my pick for it. But he picked the rats killing. So yeah, I guess you could go either way with that as far as like which scene best embodies like that kind of standout moment of just completely unhinged, just Art. Just
why am I here? Why am I here?
Actually, changed my mind. The one that made me laugh the hardest was the Christmas presents one at the mall.
Who did we just lose?
Axel, I think.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, he'll jump back in. Yeah, the Christmas present.
The mall explosion one was my favorite one.
I don't know. It's like Art's like, I don't know. I don't expect bombs from Art. So,
boy, he pulls out a Glock at some point. Actually, this is the second time he's pulled out a Glock.
Yeah, Yeah, bleach and salt. Yeah, and that bedroom one in the second one. Yeah, for me in this one, like the one that really just again stuck in my mind was the showers, the shower scene with the two podcast kids getting interrupted the worst way possible, and then the one dude that gets the chainsaw, up the rear end. It's the nicest way I could put it.
I'm just amazed. I haven't watched any of the Terrifying movies. I'm just amazed there's a plot.
It's very weak.
It's about as strong as any other horror movie plot that even if you want from some of the classics, like Nightmare on Elm Street doesn't really have a plot. It's a guy's chasing us, we have to get away or stop him. It's like every slasher movie.
Well, Nightmare on Elm Street did have a plot. It was getting revenge because the people he was going after were the kids of the people that killed him.
Like it's the catalyst for it, but we deal mostly with the runaround of the characters before we even hear about the why. I mean,
it's the same thing with Halloween, right? When Michael Myers, right? We gotta get away from Michael Myers. His agenda is to try and kill people, and like originally it was was his family, then the extended family and whatnot. So then he
they give you a catalyst as to why this character exists. Then outside of that, it's just about the same build-ups over and over.
Yeah, pretty much. But again, I think with what they kind of do in this one, as far as like expanding a little bit of the universe and the mythos, it's like they add a little bit more meat to it. I think in this one, as far as like giving Art a little bit more of a personality, and also the same goes for like just what he is and what he represents. They kind of I think probably just they probably realized too, just for like if the series is to have any longevity, they probably should like try to put him in some kind of context other than just the series is definitely very much what you see is what you get as far as the kills and the brutality and whatnot. But I think they strove with this one to sort of build upon the idea of like what makes Art tick a little, just a bit more than what they did in the first two, and I think that's something they're probably going to try to expand upon in 4. But again, it's like, but again, all of that is just seasoning for like what the meat and potatoes is, which is Art just finding ways to just absolutely butcher people with 9 ways.
I'm looking for something different in part 4. Like I don't want another build up for Art and Sienna to meet in the last 20 minutes again. I think part 4 needs to start off within the first 20 minutes that they meet and whatever the story that they have and how she's, they're going to resolve this new issue that they have, and maybe see Art in a slightly different light, something a little different, but in the same kind of way. That's kind of contradictory, but
slightly different. Like, are you saying he might become a good guy all of a sudden?
What are you asking of this franchise?
More than a Manhunter.
Some Scorsese shit from this franchise? I mean, are you?
It could go in any way. It could go in any way.
I think they're really cool. I think my favorite kill, or I guess scene, was the liquid nitrogen with Santa.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good.
That was I thought that was pretty clever. And just like him smashing all the body pieces one by one, and then like Santa's still being conscious during it. I don't know how like liquid nitrogen.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know how scientifically accurate it is, but yeah, that was my favorite scene.
Oh, Ruth's got an interesting comment here. I can't wait to see how the story plays out with her father. Thoughts? Yeah, that'll be interesting. You're talking about Sienna, I assume, right?
Yeah, we need to know a little bit more on the backstory of him. Because what his whole involvement was prior. And what that scene really meant.
It's not going to turn into Nancy Drew on a dime. I don't know what you guys are looking for, man.
I mean, the big thing for me is like, is that it ends on a the cliffhanger it ends on where it like very overtly establishes her having supernatural qualities of her own, and needing to go on a mission to someplace otherworldly to save somebody. That I think that if I had to guess, I think the fourth one is going to. I think the fourth one will probably be the one. Maybe they probably have to up the budget for this, but I would expect the fourth one is going to be the one where they're like really going to try to play around the most with like kind of taking it out of the Earth realm or the kind of grounded realm and kind of take it. Let's go like a little bit more to where Art came from, like kind of place her on his turf.
Basically in hell.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, that's why I was wondering why if they dropped the Ninth Circle reference at the end with the girl on the bus because she was the victim in the All Hallows Eve.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe there's certain ways or areas where you could enter into hell, maybe through that abandoned bus station that they used, or maybe they go back to the Terrifier, or who knows. But I was wondering why they brought that up there. If it was just for a wink and a nod.
He gets on the bus where she's reading the book where it all began for Art. Very clever. Yeah.
All right. On that note, because we've drifted off into wanting context and
we went into the abyss
from Art
Another
the
thing.
Clown. So I think we're
One more thing, William. Speaking of sequel, there is kind of a sequel for Joker 2.
No, what's that?
In the movie, she's pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
She's supposed to wire though. So.
Yeah, it's like, well, yeah, because I think she allude to the fact she was just bullshitting him on that.
Yeah. I don't know, man. One clown disappointed, the other one.
I mean, it's irrelevant because we're not going to. Highly unlikely we're going to get a Joker 3.
No, we're never going to get Joker 3. I
don't think we were ever going to get a Joker 3 anyway.
Yeah, to be fair, it's like it wasn't on the cards, even if it did perform very well.
I'll watch Joker 3 if the Terrifier director directs it.
Oh God.
Oh God, this guy.
Sorry, Todd Phillips, you had your chance.
On that note.
Yeah. All right. Tomorrow is Penguin. Episode 5.
Penguin,
yeah, I'm down for that.
Probably be a lot earlier than 10:30 if I can make it happen. Prefer to do it earlier than later. All right, so everybody's got all the bullshit out of their system because we ended up with Art the Clown, so that's a yes. All right, guys, see you tomorrow, 10:30. Or actually, no, see you tomorrow. I'd guess 8 o'clock.
The duck comes Wednesday.
Try everyone.
I'm gonna make you people pay. For this. I'm going to find a way to, the importance of grammar on this show is very important to me. All right.
Try is Art spelled backwards,
Try is train spelled wrong.
It's not the way I look at it.
That's what try is. Well, that's what illiteracy is. What are you telling me to do? You're an author. You should know it. Come on, man.
I would have worked the word
1,000 fat fingered the word train.
I am going to work the word try into a feature one of these days.
See, even Ruth is doing it.
Ruth got a tattooed on her body.
Exactly.
She's
by the way, William, your fly is also in the chat too.
Yeah, what's for dinner, William?
I don't know. This show. All right.
Boomer try. Later, guys.
Later.
Bye.
Try.